Chapter 1221. Hearing Chen Zhang's words, Wang Chongjin's old face instantly turned green, and his old eyes stared straight at Chen Shang, causing him to feel very uncomfortable, but everyone could feel that Wang Chongjin was angry. What Chen Shang had just said was all suddenly told to him by Su Meiyao. HMPH, you know quite a bit. Wang Chongjin snorted. He glared hatefully at the alchemist, at the disciple of the Bai Sha Dan Immortal, at the elder, whose eyebrows twitched. Someone had revealed the ugly matter of his master, which made him extremely unhappy. Seeing the obvious effects, Chen Shang smiled. To dare attack Fire Divine Palace so brazenly, caused everyone to sweat for him, and they all knew that the old lady from Fire Divine Palace was extremely strong. Sister Meiyao, it worked. Oh right, who did Bai Sha Dan Immortal lose to? Chen Shang asked with a smile. Of course I lost to me, hee hee. Su Meiyao laughed smugly. But that woman was a beauty then, and after that one time, she grew old, and was probably shocked. Furthermore, she was the one who proposed the rules of the game. She originally wanted to take care of me, but she did not know that I would be so powerful. Under normal circumstances, it would take a lot of time to refine a heaven-level pill, but it was different now. Right now, it was a competition, and the rules stated that victory or defeat depended on time, thus both sides would do their best to speed up the process. They could not be slower than the other party, or else they would very likely lose in the future. Li Baojun possessed a flame that even Chen Shang was envious of, which meant that the fire soul in Li Baojun's body should be the 5 elements fire soul. Therefore, Chen Shang was extremely confident in Li Baojun. At that time, the other party would be shocked by Chen Zhang's words and would almost make a mistake in the beginning, causing the pill furnace to tremble slightly, but it would stabilize in the end. It was only 4 hours later that the old man's forehead was covered in sweat. Could it be that my words just now were too harsh, hitting this fellow's heart directly? It has only been 4 hours, and he has already become like this. To think that he had even suggested refining a 9 deadly flying Dan himself. Chen Shang thought. Maybe this old man was thinking about how his master would run around the city naked when he lost. Long Shui laughed. Little naughty dragon, why do you keep thinking about these things? Chen Shang scolded. This old fellow's fire soul is not bad, but in the Fire Divine Palace's perspective, there should be a lot of high-level fire souls. They can plunder a large amount of fire soul, so they might be able to fuse with it. Long Shui said. It is actually a golden fire soul, but looking at the fire chi that he is releasing, this fire soul is not natural, it has been further refined. It was already dark, but many people were waiting for the results. Not only did they have to watch the battle between the disciples of the 2 alchemy masters, they also had to see the final result, especially the powers in Pill City. If they lost, they would have to start with a new plan to attack the Chen Martial continent. After the news of Fire Divine Palace and dragon subduing school fighting here spread out, many people began to come over one after another to watch the show. Even at night, there were still many people who came. Chen Shang suddenly sensed a very weak yet familiar qi. He raised his head and looked at the pitch-black night sky. At this time, there were many people floating, and they were all looking down from the sky. Qianchen, why are you here? Chen Shang anxiously transmitted to Wu Qianchen. The lady dressed in a simple white dress was Wu Qianchen. Chen Shang, it's good that you're fine. We were all very worried about you because of the huge incident that happened in Sacred Fire School. When Wu Qianchen heard Chen Zhang's sound transmission, she immediately responded to it with divine sense that was left in her mind. That sweet voice was extremely excited. What can happen to me? I've always been fine, don't worry about me. Chen Shang laughed. Oh right, Qianchen, what level of pills can you concoct now? High quality ground level, I might need a very long time before I can break through, sigh, Wu Qianchen sighed. This was a ravine that every alchemist would find difficult to cross in a short period of time. Ha. Chen Shang only laughed, but in her heart, Wu Qianchen was very surprised. She felt that Chen Shang had already stepped over the threshold. That's impossible. Wu Qianchen's voice was filled with incredulity as she exclaimed in surprise, just what method did you use? I'll tell you in the future, I'll find a time to teach you, but the requirements for fire and consciousness are very high. If you can raise fire and consciousness, I feel that using my method will allow you to move much faster than the foreseeing alchemy. Chen Shang said. Yes, I will pass through the 8 nirvana tribulations a little faster. You must teach me when the time comes. Wu Qianchen was extremely happy. She had witnessed Chen Zhang's miracles many times, so she quickly accepted Chen Zhang's breakthrough. At dawn, the two of them were still concocting pills, and most of the people watching the fight were quite strong, so even if they did not sleep for a few days and nights, they would still be able to recover their spirit easily. Therefore, after watching the competition for an entire day and night, they did not feel bored. This flying Dan is probably from the lower heaven level, and its main ingredient is the 9 deathly soaring flower. It's just a small flower, but it needs to be tossed around for a long time. Chen Shang said. Don't underestimate the soaring flower. Since this little flower has the power to resist the heavens, it is obviously not easy to deal with. If the flying Dan did not have a success rate of only 50%, it would not have been listed in the high-grade heaven-level pills. The difficulty of refining the little flower is definitely not any less than refining a middle-grade heaven-level medicinal ingredient. Su Meiyao said. Moreover, the two of them can now be considered to be fast. Back then when I was controlling the middle-grade heaven-level pills, neither of them were as skilled as they are now. Chen Shang suddenly felt an itch on his hand. He really wanted to use his god purification to try and refine the flying Dan. He felt that this would train him to use the divine power, but the flame aspect was still a hard injury. When he was refining the Hunyuan Dan, the fire power was already at its peak, but he still felt a sense of powerlessness. The place for the competition was surrounded by tens of thousands of people. It was extremely noisy, but suddenly quietened down, because the two alchemists' pill furnaces were shaking violently, as though they were about to enter the final stage. Is the result about to come out? It's only been a day and a night, and the flying Dan is about to be released. As expected of the pinnacle duel, it would be great if we could see what's going on inside the furnace. A person exclaimed. If Chen Shang was here, he would have definitely been able to broaden your horizons while he was refining pills. It's a pity that this genius was sealed up by the Fire Divine Palace. Another sighed. This Fire Divine Palace is really sinister, sealing his leader and then running over to his territory to behave atrociously. If they lose to a group of leaderless forces, they would definitely be laughed at to death. Chapter 12:22. He was the current head Dan Immortal of the Fire Divine Palace S. This alchemist was able to obtain a high-grade pill furnace, which showed that his alchemy level was very high. Li Baojun was the alchemist that everyone knew. However, his master Li Tianjin had already lost to the Bai Sha Dan Immortal, so could he win against the disciple of the Bai Sha Dan Immortal to save face for master? Now, both of them had simultaneously entered the later stages of the core formation stage, and their strength was evenly matched. Everyone was looking forward to the result even more. The two pill furnaces shook and shook. Waves of hot air were released, forming a wave that rose high into the air, causing everyone watching to feel extremely hot and stuffy. It seems like both of them might form the core at the same time. If we want to win, then it will depend on the quality and quantity. Su Meiyao said. At most, this flying Dan can only produce one pellet. It is very difficult to refine two. 9 death soaring flower is not enough to refine 2 pellets, but that is not absolute. Maybe someone can refine 2 pellets, it is just that I have never heard of it before. There were very few 9 deaths ascending flower to begin with, which resulted in such pills being very rare. When many alchemists were able to refine one, they would only be able to refine one batch at a time when their skills far surpassed the level of the lower heaven level. They simply did not have the opportunity to try refining more than one batch. At this time, Li Baojun's expression was extremely calm, but the flames he released, and the fiery aura he emitted, made people feel as if he was roaring. His master lost to his opponent's master, and now he absolutely could not lose. Chen Shang could feel his determination right now. Everyone looked at the two alchemists attentively. It was extremely quiet, because the results would be out very soon. After that, the two alchemists both opened their eyes. It was actually completed at the same time, and this was not a coincidence, but rather the highest level that the high-ranking alchemists could issue out. When refining the Flying Dan, this was their fastest time, and it was also not a coincidence that the two alchemists did not open their eyes at the same time. HMPH. The Fire Divine Palace was a little dissatisfied with this result. Although there was still no difference between victory and defeat, the other party was actually able to compete with him in terms of time, which meant that the other party was at the same level as him. This made it difficult for him to accept, because he came from the heaven realm, and was actually unable to compete with Alchemist, who was born and raised in the lower realms. Your time is the same as mine, but that doesn't mean you can be on the same level as me. The Fire Divine Palace said with a sneer. You are mistaken to think that you can compete with me in this competition. The quality of the ascension is very hard to control, and this is my strength. The alchemist of the Fire Divine Palace felt that the quality of the flying Dan that Li Baojun had refined was inferior to his. Li Baojun smiled slightly. Of course, I never thought that I would be able to tie with you. Perhaps you will lose. Open the pill furnace. Wang Chongjin was very curious about the results, but she had a lot of confidence in her alchemist. She believed that Li Baojun would definitely lose this match. After all, his alchemist had a very strong fire soul, and he had grown up in the heaven realm, so he had a lot of resources to use up on his training. The first to open the pill furnace was at Fire Divine Palace's side, holding a light yellow pill in the alchemist's hand high up, letting everyone see the flying Dan. It's of high quality. Wang Chongjin laughed. Of course, I haven't refined a low-quality pill in a long time. Alchemist said proudly, because he saw that many experts were staring at the flying Dan in his palm, their faces were filled with worship. Just a single day and night later, he would be able to refine a flying Dan of high quality. This level was indeed very high, because according to the rumors, some alchemists would need a very long time to refine flying Dan, and their quality would not be guaranteed either. Li Baojun nodded his head. It's true that it's of high quality, but this does not mean that you can win. He opened the lid of the pill furnace and calmly took out the pills. The people in the air immediately cried out in alarm, because they could see the two yellow clouds emitting from the furnace with a single glance. It was actually 2 pills. After everyone was shocked, they started to discuss among themselves. When the people of Fire Divine Palace saw the 2 new flying danas in Li Baojun's hands, they were all stunned. Their expressions were filled with shock, disbelief and jealousy. You lost, Li Baojun said indifferently. After he finished speaking, he destroyed his own pill furnace, causing everyone to be shocked once again. A pill furnace that could be destroyed with one palm, it was definitely not something good. Li Baojun had actually used such a low-grade pill furnace to refine a whole batch of flying Dan. The pill furnace used by the Fire Divine Palace was a top-grade immortal furnace, but it couldn't compare to the other party's broken pill furnace. Previously, he was so arrogant, but now, he was beaten up so badly by the other party using a broken pill furnace. 2 high-quality flying Dan could easily defeat their opponent, and at the same time, they used the same amount of time. From this, Li Baojun's strength could be seen to be much stronger than his opponent. Bai Sha Dan Immortal's disciple is only this strong. I thought he was that strong. Chen Shang sneered from the side. No one knew his identity, so he didn't have any misgivings. Even though that Wang Chongjin was an immortal king, he didn't see through him. You, the old man snorted, kept the pill furnace and walked behind Wang Chongjin. Although they had lost one match, Wang Chongjin was still very calm. There was no loss at all, it was as if they would never lose. Wang Chongjin walked out and said to Li Baojun, I see that you're the only one in your dragon subduing school that can compete with us. I wonder if you'll be able to continue fighting on. It's a pity that our leader is sealed by you. Duan Chong shook his head and sighed. Even so, it does not mean that only Elder Li is allowed to refine pills. Fire Divine Palace had always avoided sealing Chen Shang, since he had sealed someone else's leader, so it would not be glorious for him to come to another person's territory and cause trouble. Next, I'll compete with you. Who are you going to send out? Wang Chongjin laughed sinisterly, and glanced at Chen Shang and the others. The one who was going to fight in Fire Divine Palace was this old lady. She didn't look like an alchemist. Chen Shang was also very surprised. This Wang Chongjin was a devil cultivator. There were many who knew how to refine pills. At that time, she was very famous in the area of heaven-level pills, even among the heaven realm. Her flame power was already good, and she had such a high position in the Fire Divine Palace, so it is possible that her alchemy level may have increased a lot. Ling Chen. Su Meiyao said. Chapter 12:23. His opponent was actually Wang Chongjin. This was a very strong immortal king. Many of the stronger people here could feel that this old lady was very strong. When the group of demons that came with Wang Chongjin heard that this immortal king was also an alchemist, they were extremely excited. It was because they felt that they were not mistaken and that they were extremely lacking in pills. Which one of you can do it? Wang Chongjin had always believed that Li Baojun was the only one who was supporting the competition in the dragon subduing school. Li Baojun had gotten himself a match with great difficulty. If he lost in the next match, all of his efforts would be for naught. He would have to start from the beginning and win 2 matches consecutively before being able to win. Li Baojun glanced at Chen Shang and nodded at him. Chen Shang walked out and said, let me do it. The person sent by the dragon subduing school to fight against Wang Changjin was actually a very young man, and also the person who had just spoken out loud about the Bai Sha Dan Immortal. Anyone who knew some of the secrets about the heaven realm must have come from the heaven realm, but this person was unknown, causing people to think that he and Wang Changjin were not on the same level. You. Wang Changjin sized Chen Shang up from head to toe, his tone filled with disdain, because the aura Chen Shang was emitting didn't even seem like it belonged to a deity. The person sent out by the dragon subduing school to compete with her in refining pills was actually someone who had not even completed Nirvana stage. This made her extremely unhappy in her heart. She felt that he was at least at Li Baojun's level. Chen Shang laughed. What, did I break the rules? Of course not. Is there no one in your dragon subduing school to actually send you out to compete with me? Wang Changjin was an immortal king, so she looked at others based on their strength. Their opponents were not even immortals, so no matter what, she would not put them in her eyes. It's enough as long as I can defeat you. Of course, if the leader is here, I will also be the one fighting, because in terms of pill refining, there is no need for the leader to do anything. The smile on Chen Zhang's face made Wang Changjin very angry. She really wanted to shout, I am the immortal king, because she was unexpectedly looked down upon by others. She thought that the opponent did not know her exact strength, which made her feel very aggrieved. Of the people here, the person who was most clear of Wang Changjin's strength was none other than Chen Shang, who had purposely provoked her. I had thought that you all would send some sort of powerful guy, but it turns out that you're actually just an ignorant guy. Wang Changjin looked at Chen Shang with disdain, and then said to Li Baojun. She felt that only Li Baojun fighting with her would make her heart feel better, because she felt that it was kind of an insult to this nobody in front of her. Chen Shang said, could it be that you don't want to compete with me? Wang Changjin said, we will have to compete, it's just that I feel very uncomfortable inside, because sparring with a guy like you is a form of humiliation for me. Chen Shang chuckled. So that's how it is, but if you lose to me, then you can commit suicide. Wang Changjin suddenly laughed out loud, because this was the funniest joke she had ever heard. Brat, you aren't even a bug in my eyes. When I was dominating Heaven Realm, your ancestors were not even born yet, so my pill refining skills may not be considered top-notch in Heaven Realm, but many famous Dan Immortal would have to treat me with respect when they see me, and you actually want to win against me. Hearing Wang Changjin's words, everyone was secretly shocked at the strength of this old woman. As Wang Changjin laughed, a powerful aura was released, causing everyone to feel a small amount of pressure. They felt that if this old lady wanted to kill them, she would only need to raise her hand. However, Chen Shang was extremely calm, and his face still carried that faint smile. Looks like I can't not win against you today, you better mentally prepare yourself, otherwise, if you lose to me, who is even inferior to an insect, you would be laughed at to death. You already don't have that appearance back then, why would you still have the Dan Immortal treat you with respect? Hearing Chen Zhang's words, Wang Changjin's face immediately darkened, she did not expect him to actually know about her. Who is your master? Wang Changjin asked coldly. It scared you to death. Chen Shang laughed. Wang Changjin immediately sank into deep thought. Previously, she had treated everything that Chen Shang had said as nonsense, but she had taken Chen Zhang's words seriously. Just refine the Hunyuan Dan. You don't have the ingredients for this pill, but if you don't, I can sell it to you. Chen Shang said. Of course, Wang Changjin did not think that the pill refining elder above the heaven realm would have such a disciple. She thought that there was someone behind Chen Shang, who knew about the things in the heaven realm, but he was definitely not some strong person. Li Baojun was able to refine a Hunyuan Dan at such a young age, which was very unreasonable. Unless Chen Shang had a very powerful time formation that could turn a year into a 1,000-year-old time formation, but that was impossible, because that kind of array formation was an existence that was supernatural, and even if there was one, it would not be completed in a short period of time. Furthermore, it would require a large amount of energy to replenish. The pill furnace that Wang Changjin used was pure white, it looked like it was carved out of white jade, the patterns on the outside were extremely beautiful, causing Chen Shang to be unable to resist taking a closer look. It was clear that this pill furnace was also a good pill furnace. Sister Mei Yao, do you recognize this pill furnace? Chen Shang asked. In the heaven realm, some famous alchemists used pill furnaces that were very famous. Snow Phoenix Furnace. Why is this pill furnace in her hands? Su Meiyao said in shock when he saw the image that Long Shui sent over. Isn't that the pill furnace of the Snow Wind Old Man? Bai Yuyu was also surprised. Could it be that the Snow Wind Old Man died? Otherwise, this pill furnace wouldn't have fallen into other people's hands. Who was the snow-wind old man? Chen Shang knew who this man was from the moment he heard him. A Dan immortal with only half a foot in the alchemist realm. Because when he refined pills, he would summon a blizzard, so everyone in the heaven realm called him that. Later on, his information became less and less, and it was rumored that his lifespan was up. Su Meiyao said. Chen Shang looked carefully at the white pill furnace and confirmed that there was a phoenix carved on it. However, it was not that obvious as it was covered with patterns. Looks like this snow phoenix treasure furnace isn't the same one from back then. As long as you enter the fire, you will be able to hear the cries of phoenixes, which is very magical, and there will even be a gust of cold wind coming from the furnace. When you condense the pill furnace, your surroundings will become very cold because of the pill furnace. Su Meiyao said again. Wang Chongjin processed the ingredients very quickly, and finished them in a few moments, and had already started concocting the pills, but Chen Shang was still looking at her pill furnace. This kind of competition, time was also important, but Chen Shang was actually looking at other people's pill furnace. Chapter 1224. Wang Chongjin knew that her pill furnace was very beautiful, which was also something she was very proud of. It was just that this was DTN, if it was in Heaven Realm, there would definitely be many people who would be shocked by her pill furnace. Are you planning to admit defeat? Do you know how powerful we are? The old man who lost just now shouted at Chen Shang. When he saw Wang Chongjin using this pill furnace, he felt that there were very few people in Fire Divine Palace who would be able to look down on him in terms of pill refinement. Even Li Baojun was worried. He knew the importance of time, and if both parties had concocted the same amount of pills of the same quality, then it would depend on the time to determine the victor. This kind of pill furnace, even if you struggle for your entire life, you won't be able to obtain it. Don't even think about it. The old man sneered. Compared to the pill furnace, Chen Zhang's Yanlong furnace was not bad, and was ranked among the best even in the Heaven Realm. He laughed and took out a pill furnace of average quality, which was slightly better than the one Li Baojun used before. Once again, he used a normal pill furnace. Seeing this, everyone thought that Chen Shang wanted to do the same as before and use this method to make the Fire Divine Palace lose in shame. When the old man saw this pill furnace, he was not as pleased as he was earlier because he lost to someone who used this kind of broken pill furnace to concoct pills. If Fire Divine Palace lost again, he would definitely be laughed to death. Chen Shang took out some supplementary medicine. Some of the alchemists that saw Chen Zhang's supplementary medicine frowned, because Chen Shang had a lot of supplementary medicine. Because there were too many, it had a huge impact on the process of refining pills. It was the common sense of every alchemist, but Chen Shang had used more than half of the supplementary ingredients compared to normal. Qianchen, watch carefully. Let's see how I'll refine the heaven-level pill and how I'll defeat this old woman. Chen Shang whispered to Wu Qianchen. Wu Qianchen had already guessed that it was Chen Shang long ago, and she focused on him. There are so many supplementary herbs. Is this guy even a rookie? If he dares to use so many supplementary ingredients on this pill furnace, it will definitely explode. He might have thought that with more supplementary ingredients, he would be able to concoct one more pill, but this is very wrong. It would only make the furnace explode faster. Chen Shang took out Hunyuan fruit and Hunyuan tree root, both looked to be of good quality. He started to process the herbs, but after he was done, he first threw the supplementary herbs into the pill furnace. The Hunyuan fruit and the Hunyuan tree root had not been processed, and were placed inside a jade box. Using the foreseeing alchemy to refine a low-grade heaven-level pill was something that Chen Shang could not do, nor did he want to learn, because that method was too complicated and required far too much time. His current god purification could allow him to reach his goal very quickly, but it was very difficult for ordinary people to grasp, because it required a very strong flame and divine sense as a foundation. After Chen Shang dealt with the Hunyuan fruit, he placed it on his palm and released a flame to burn. Everyone was stunned when they saw this scene. He actually wanted to concoct pills in such a manner. This was something they had never mentioned before, nor had they ever heard of. Although it looked very stupid, no one dared to mock Chen Shang. The old man on the Fire Divine Palace's side also had a drastic change in expression, because the flames Chen Shang was releasing right now were extremely powerful. The most admirable thing was Chen Zhang's ability to control fire, which only made the crowd feel that the fire was very strong, but not even the slightest bit of hot air was released. It had to be known that the flames he was releasing right now didn't even have a pill furnace to shine on them, and didn't even emit the slightest bit of hot air. Wang Chongjin frowned, because that type of flame looked no different from normal flames. It didn't seem to be a person who owned a fire soul. Otherwise, the flame would have a color, but that type of flame was extremely powerful, close to the existence of sky fire. She had never heard of Chen Shang using this kind of pill refining method before. Chen Shang burned the Hunyuan fruit for an hour, but there were no changes to it. This made the Dan King present extremely shocked. They knew Chen Shang did not use the foreseeing alchemy, but using such a strong flame to burn the Hunyuan fruit did not cause any reaction, which made it hard for them to understand. If it was inside the furnace, then the Hunyuan fruit could explode at any time. It required a very precise flame to slowly refine the Hunyuan fruit into powder. But the flame that Chen Shang was currently using was very strong, and it was gradually increasing in strength, as if the Hunyuan fruit was defending and Chen Shang was attacking with fire. Li Baojun's eyes did not blink as he looked at the Hunyuan fruit in Chen Zhang's hand. He had heard of this method of refining pills, but he had looked down on it at the time, thinking that it was just an illusion of a pill refining technique. It did not even exist. Furthermore, it was impossible for it to exist, because that was completely subversive of the traditional method of refining pills. But right now, Chen Shang was using this method to refine heaven-level pills. He knew that this method had one benefit, which was that he could not use foreseeing alchemy. The last few times Chen Shang refined a Hunyuan fruit, he had not been able to succeed, and had been hit by the Hunyuan fruit until it exploded. With only a small amount left, this time he had to succeed, otherwise, he would not be able to defeat Wang Chongjin in the strongest possible way. As the god power attacked the Hunyuan fruit's elixir spirit, the heaven fire burned its defense continuously. The two forces were working together to break through the Hunyuan fruit's defense, to refine it into powder, and then put it into the furnace to refine, compress, and unleash all the potential power of the Hunyuan fruit. After 4 hours had passed, the Hunyuan fruit in Chen Zhang's hand suddenly shone with a gold light. On the surface of the Hunyuan fruit, there were many golden spots. The golden light persisted for a moment, and at the same time, Chen Zhang's forehead was drenched in sweat. After the golden light disappeared, many cracks appeared on the surface of the Hunyuan fruit, and following that, it started to collapse inwards bit by bit, eventually turning into a pile of golden powder. Chen Shang exhaled a long breath. Because he had succeeded, he had finally succeeded in refining this Hunyuan fruit. He was very happy. He placed the refined Hunyuan fruit into the Yanlong furnace, and then there was the Hunyuan tree root. Dan King was capable of refining heaven-level pills, and they had also refined this Hunyuan fruit before. It was even more difficult than the Flying Dan. The time it took was not short, it would at least take 2 days and 2 nights. Seeing Chen Shang using the method he had just used to refine the Hunyuan tree root, everyone guessed what he should do next. After refining the Hunyuan tree root, they would throw it into the furnace to complete the final batch of pills. However, many alchemists also saw that using this method would solve many problems. Chapter 1225. At the scene, many alchemists were discussing this new and powerful pill refining techniques of Chen Zhang's, because he could not use the foreseeing alchemy. How did he manage to use fire to refine the Hunyuan fruit? When he uses flames, it's always very strong flames. Logically speaking, this method of burning Hunyuan fruit won't work. In the end, it would either explode or dissipate. Also, he also needs to control the supplementary ingredients in the furnace as well as the medicine aura and the medicinal powder. The two would definitely clash inside the furnace. He needs a very strong mind to support him. The most important thing is the method he uses to refine the Hunyuan fruit outside. This is definitely not as simple as just using fire to burn it. We are only seeing it on the surface. Of course it wasn't simple. This was a method Chen Shang had developed from comprehending the heavenly alchemy, and the incantations he used to refine the medicinal ingredients came from the heavenly alchemy. Only Wu Qianchen knew a little, because Chen Shang had told her before that if she wanted to use this method, it required a very strong flame and consciousness. She felt that a strong flame was not a problem, because she had a way to level up her own fire soul, but in terms of consciousness, she needed to work hard to refine the heaven-level pill, before she could fly up, and at that time, she would be able to get close to the heaven realm. If she really lost to Chen Shang, she would not have the face to meet anyone. Previously, she said that Chen Shang had humiliated her in his competition, and said that Chen Shang was not even an ant, so she could not lose. Refining the Hunyuan tree root was very easy for Chen Shang. When he was refining, the yin and yang god blood in his body would produce a kind of strange feeling, which would allow him to have a kind of weak and wondrous connection with the medicine spirit of the Hunyuan tree root. When he was refining the Hunyuan tree root with fire, he would not encounter such a strong resistance. It could be said to be very easy to refine it. In just 2 hours, the segment of black Hunyuan tree root in Chen Zhang's hands turned into a snow-white color and then shattered into a pile of slowly rotating white powder. The medicine aura outside was also spinning, and it looked like a small vortex that was emitting white light. Chen Shang placed the refined Hunyuan tree root into the pill furnace. At this time, he had already entered the process of condensing the pill, and began to condense everything in the furnace. It had only been 6 hours, yet he had already reached this stage, causing everyone to exclaim in shock. At this time, many alchemists wanted to learn this pill refining technique, but they knew that this was definitely someone else's secret. It would not be easy to learn this technique, unless they joined the Dragon Subduing School. Originally, they had wanted to defeat Dragon Subduing School ruthlessly and win a large amount of pellets, but now, they did not expect that they had already lost half. But even if the furnace were to explode now, he could still learn from the newly concocted pills. There were no restrictions in terms of quality, number of pills produced, or time limit. So long as he could surpass the other party in terms of quality, quantity, and time, he would still be able to win. The time needed to condense the core wasn't very long, but this was with the use of the foreseeing alchemy, so the god purification that Chen Shang was currently using would take some time. Wang Changjin had always been worried that Chen Shang would concoct pills faster than her, but now that she saw that Chen Shang had not succeeded in concocting pills in the past 4 hours, she felt a lot more relaxed. She thought that even if Chen Shang was faster in terms of quality and quantity, he would probably not be able to defeat her. Everyone was curious about what exactly was happening inside the furnace. Under normal circumstances, when refining a heaven-level pill refining pill, the furnace would slightly shake, releasing the power inside the furnace. Especially the pill furnace that Chen Shang was using now, if it was not shaken, it could expose itself at any time, meaning that the energy inside could not be released at all. But if the furnace was going to explode, Chen Shang had persisted for so long. Li Baojun and Wu Qianchen immediately thought of something. They were very familiar with Chen Zhang's pill refining results. But now, Chen Zhang's furnace did not shake nor release any of the energy within, which meant that Chen Shang was compressing all the energy that he needed to release together. Furthermore, it would transform into a berserk energy that raged inside the pill furnace, especially when refining pills. Under normal circumstances, the alchemist would only use this energy little by shaking the pill furnace to ensure the success of the condensing of the pill. Chen Shang did not do this because he wanted to give more pills. Now that he had the time, he wanted to win even more thoroughly, so he used this time to refine an even more perfect set of Hunyuan Dan. Time flew by, in a blink of an eye it was already dark, and Chen Shang was still the same as before. There were no movements from the pill furnace, but it was still working inside. Everyone suddenly had their doubts about Chen Zhang's new pill refining skills. They previously thought it was extremely fast, but now it seemed like he did not have any advantages to think that he had taken so long to condense the pill. Seeing that Chen Shang did not condense the pellet very quickly, the people of Wang Changjin and the Fire Divine Palace immediately felt that victory was in their hands, because the people who came with Wang Changjin were all the trusted aides that Wang Changjin had brought with him from the heaven realm. They all knew her refining level, especially the heaven level pellet. The sky was about to brighten, but Chen Shang still had his eyes closed. He sat cross-legged on the ground expressionlessly and poured flames into the pill furnace. Just then, Wang Changjin's pill furnace suddenly started shaking, causing everyone's eyes to light up. They had been waiting for Chen Shang for a long time, but he did not move at all, and now, Wang Changjin had caught up to them. Although he was a little late at the core formation stage, but in the end, the condensing of the pill was still faster than Chen Shang. Wang Changjin started to despise Chen Shang because she felt that Chen Zhang's pill refining skills were only mediocre. In the end, he still needed the same amount of time, but that was all. The sky was completely bright, and the warm morning sun was shining on the competition grounds. Everyone was also worried, because Wang Changjin's pill furnace was shaking more and more, and because he had released too much energy at the very last moment, it required him to release it. In other words, Wang Changjin was about to succeed. Wang Changjin's snow-white pill furnace shook violently for a while before suddenly stopping. Wang Changjin opened his eyes, his face was filled with joy, but Chen Shang was not done yet, as he still had his eyes closed. "I thought you were just that powerful." Wang Changjin opened his pill furnace and took out 2 shining, golden Hunyuan Dan-s. Seeing these 2 high-quality Hunyuan Dan-s, everyone let out a series of exclamations. The Hunyuan Dan S that could only produce one pellet, Wang Chongjin used one day and one night to refine 2 of them. Fire Divine Palace lost. No matter how powerful he is, he will at most have 2 pellets. However, his time is slower than his opponents. At the beginning, I thought he was very powerful, but I didn't expect that he was just putting on an act. That's all. Everyone turned to look at the Fire Divine Palace, wishing for nothing more than to throw themselves into him, because there stood a very outstanding and powerful alchemist. Chapter 12:26. Chen Shang was not even finished refining yet, and there were already people who told him to give up, because from their perspectives, Chen Shang had no chance of winning. Wang Chongjin looked at Chen Shang with a pair of dark and cold eyes. The method Chen Shang used to refine the medicinal ingredients was still very powerful, even someone like Wang Chongjin wouldn't be able to understand what was going on. If it was her, she wouldn't be able to refine the medicinal ingredients into her palm like Chen Shang previously. However, Chen Shang had used a very short amount of time to refine those 2 main medicinal ingredients, and on this point, Wang Chongjin could not help but admire Chen Shang. 2 hours after Wang Chongjin finished refining, Chen Shang finally opened his eyes. Seeing his calm expression, his eyes shone with a confident light, and many people shook their heads. You won't have a chance to win anymore. Even if you push yourself to death, you can only refine 2 high-quality Hunyuan Dan, but they are faster than you. You are bound to lose. Unless you can refine 3 Hunyuan Dan S, but that's simply impossible. The 2 main ingredients for Hunyuan Dan S are just like that, and it's difficult for them to condense 3 Hunyuan Dan S. Even the Supreme Pill Saints would not be able to do that. Just admit defeat. It's not like your dragon subduing school has completely lost. You guys have won 1, you've lost 1. The old man from the Fire Divine Palace was secretly happy, because he still had a chance to defeat Li Baojun. Right now, he believed that the Fire Divine Palace had already lost, so they still had to continue competing until one of them could win 2 rounds in a row. Chen Shang let out a light breath and said lightly, "There's no need to compete anymore, you have already lost." He opened the lid of the pill furnace and 4 rays of golden light shot out from it. They shot straight into the sky, accompanied by a strong medicinal fragrance. Looking at the 4 pill lights, everyone was in shock, especially the old alchemist. It's pill light. I never thought that the legendary pill light actually exists. 4 Hunyuan Dan. That's impossible. I must have seen wrongly. The appearance of this pill indicates that the quality of this pill has reached its peak. It's the peak quality of the heaven-level pill. It can be said that this pill has transcended mortality and nurtured a holy light. Inside the poor quality pill furnace, there were 4 floating pills wrapped in a hazy golden light. When they saw that it was indeed 4 Hunyuan Dan S, everyone was flabbergasted. The shock in their hearts was indescribable. A Hunyuan Dan being able to refine 2 of them was already considered to be an incredible feat, if it was only for 3, although it was possible, but everyone believed that only a pill saint would be able to do it, but the person in front of them was actually able to refine 4, and they were even able to emit a pill light. Chen Zhang's refining skills had completely overturned every single alchemist's understanding towards the Tao of pills, and went against all the rules of the Tao of pills. Wang Chongjin also opened her mouth slightly in shock, disbelief written all over her face. Forget about 4 pills, just that pill light alone was enough to completely defeat her. Even if the other party could refine 2, just their quality alone would be enough to defeat her. He did not use the foreseeing alchemy, but he did concoct a shocking batch of pills. 4 of them were Hunyuan Dan, and the appearance of these pills made people think that he was the successor of the pill saint. You've lost. Li Baojun was startled for a good long while before he said slowly. Here you go. Wang Chongjin threw a storage bag to Li Baojun, which contained a large amount of pills. They had all been completely defeated by the opponent with a large gap between them. They had originally wanted to find fault with him, but in the end, they had actually lost and ran off with their tails between their legs. In order to concoct this pill, Chen Shang had used up a lot of energy. He only bid goodbye to Li Baojun and hurried back to his room to rest. Little scoundrel, you're really amazing. Just how did you do it? Even Su Meiyao didn't know how Chen Shang managed to achieve such a feat. With his level, he would undoubtedly be able to contend against those Pill Saint Dan Immortal S. If he were to compete against those fellows in refining Hunyuan Dan, even if Chen Shang didn't win, he definitely wouldn't lose. Su Meiyao had muddled his way through the alchemy world above the heaven realm, and he knew that Chen Zhang's current level had already surpassed many of the other Dan Immortal S. It was just that the alchemy grade he could refine now was still low, but he would definitely be able to grow it in the future. Chen Shang laughed. The limit of the Hunyuan Dan's medicine is 3.5 pills, but when I put in the supplementary medicine previously, I put in a lot more, and at that time, there were even a bunch of idiots who laughed at me. It was all thanks to these supplementary medicine that I was able to get the 4th Hunyuan Dan, and as for that pill light, I am not sure how it appeared. Su Meiyao said. As long as it is a heaven-level pill and above, the quality surpasses superior. Once the peak quality is reached, a pill will shine. Sister Meiyao, I will definitely teach you from now on. Chen Shang laughed. Chen Shang and Li Baojun were both here. The two of them were discussing about things related to alchemy, and when they saw that Chen Shang was out in high spirits, they all stood up. Chen Shang laughed. I may have to leave for a period of time, but before that, I will simply explain the principles behind my god purification. Wu Qianqin and Li Baojun nodded, and didn't ask anything further. Chen Shang explained the god purification technique in detail, and then explained the key points. After hearing everything, Wu Qianqin and Li Baojun looked at Chen Shang strangely, because Chen Zhang's method of refining pills was simply too abnormal. To think that they would want to directly deal with the medicinal spirit within the medicinal ingredients, and also Chen Zhang's consciousness, which would definitely be extremely strong. This was because they were unable to fulfill the requirements Chen Shang had set, and their consciousness was not strong enough. It seems that only by raising my consciousness can I use this kind of god purification. Li Baojun was a little disappointed, but he also felt that it was very normal. Wu Qianqin already knew that the requirements for the soul consciousness was very high, so she was mentally prepared. In the future, the first thing she would do when she cultivated her soul consciousness was to allow her to improve her soul consciousness while also mastering this mystical pill refining technique. Chen Shang said. In the next period of time, the Fire Divine Palace will not attack the Chen Martial Continent too quickly. They just lost so many pills, so they will need some time to recover. Wu Qianqin was the first to leave. She had matters to take care of in Dan Fragrance Pure Land. Li Baojun had just brought a large batch of pills and had to split them, so she was busy. That batch of pellets were all below the top quality of ground level. There were no heaven-level medicinal ingredients, but the quantity was extremely large. If they could win over the pellets, then Dragon Subduing School would be able to cultivate even more outstanding disciples. Chapter 1227. Chen Shang left the Dragon Subduing City and came to a very remote place. He dug out a huge stone room at the bottom of the ground and then took out the Heaven-Suppressed Immortal Monument. After obtaining the Heaven-Suppressed Immortal Monument, he had yet to carefully study it. The Heaven-Suppressed Immortal Monument was very powerful, and was even a powerful weapon that could restrain magical equipment formations. The super-strong array discs of the Purple Profound Holy Mountain and the Blazing Mountain were already destroyed by the Heaven-Suppressed Immortal Monument. There must be something powerful inside this Heaven-Suppressed Immortal Monument. As long as it absorbs a large amount of energy, it can release a very strong icy cold power that can freeze everything. Chen Shang said. That's for sure. Back then, this heaven-suppressed immortal monument wanted to use it to suppress the ice sky and make it more stable, allowing it to release its icy cold power all year round. I just didn't expect it to land outside the 9 heavens, DTN. Bai Yu said. Chen Shang took out the ice dragon sword sheath. This sword sheath was the key to opening the treasure chest, and he still had 2 treasure chests that he had to open, but it was difficult to replenish the energy inside the ice dragon sword sheath, so he wanted to use this heaven-suppressed immortal monument to try. He obtained 3 treasure chests from the chaotic mountain and opened one of them. There was a handful of Hammer of God and the remaining 2 must also have good items, so he had always been thinking about it. He had initially planned to use the energy extracted from the profound being to fill it up, but it was not going to work. Chen Shang placed his hand on top of the heaven-suppressed immortal monument and started to pour his power into it. The top of the heaven-suppressed immortal monument indeed released a very strong power of frost, causing the stone walls of the cave that was deep down to become covered in frost. After the extremely cold energy was released from the top of the heaven-suppressed immortal monument, he immediately used devouring magic Kung Fu to absorb it. Then, he placed the icy cold power into the ice dragon sword's sheath. There's movement. Chen Shang was immediately overjoyed. The ice dragon sword sheath in his hand emitted a weak glow and was surrounded by a faint white cold mist. He did not expect it to succeed, and it was replenishing it very quickly as well. The recovery speed was very fast, but Chen Zhang's exhaustion was also very fast, and in just a short while, he had lost 70 to 80% of his innate qi. Luckily he had a large number of pills to replenish his innate chi, and after consuming those pills, he was able to recover after meditating for a while, and then continue to replenish the ice dragon sword sheath. Judging from this speed, I should be able to open those 2 treasure chests very soon. What exactly is inside? It shouldn't be that much inferior to that hammer of God, right? Chen Shang thought excitedly in his heart. The hammer of God was already a powerful being in his eyes. He felt that the treasures in the 2 treasure chests shouldn't be more powerful than the hammer of God. After 3 days, the mysterious cold energy within the ice dragon sword's sheath had already recovered to its fullest. He immediately took out a treasure chest and excitedly inserted the ice dragon sword sheath into the keyhole, then carefully rotated the ice dragon sword sheath. At the same time, he could feel the energy inside the ice dragon sword's sheath draining away at a rapid pace. After a crackling sound, all the energy in the ice dragon sword's sheath was gone, and the treasure chest was already opened. Chen Shang opened the lid with all his might, only to see a piece of yellow paper inside. It was actually a piece of paper, but Chen Shang was not disappointed. If there was some powerful mystical technique recorded inside, then this piece of paper was extremely precious. This piece of paper was very big, with a round table. Chen Shang looked at the thing on this piece of paper carefully. It was a map, and he did not recognize any of the names on it. What is this place? Chen Shang stroked his chin, and looked at the names. This treasure chest had existed many years ago, so this map must be very old. The names of those places might have already been changed, and the topography on the map would have greatly changed. It wasn't easy to find a place that matched this map. It shouldn't be just a crappy map, right? Long Shui said in disappointment. She had been looking forward to it for so long, but it was actually just a lousy map. When Chen Shang turned the page, he only saw a pattern on the back. The pattern was circular and was as big as a wash basin, but the patterns on the back looked like they were made by chicken claws. He had no idea what the pattern had meaning, and it was not the spirit grain S either. This pattern looks familiar. Let me think, Su Meiyao suddenly said. After Chen Shang waited for a while, she was shocked by Su Meiyao's sudden scream, and shouted in shock, I remember what kind of background this pattern has, it's a symbol unique to Dan Emperor. What? Who is this Dan Emperor? Seeing Su Meiyao being so shocked, Chen Shang felt that the Dan Emperor must have some background. I don't know, I only know that he is a very powerful pill refiner, an existence that surpasses the pill saint, hence he is called Dan Emperor, but that was just a legend. Back then my master told me about this Dan Emperor before, and this pattern was something that only he could draw. The one that I saw was very small, and this one was very big, so I couldn't think of it for a moment. Su Meiyao said. Chen Shang looked at the glyph devils and pondered, could it be that this Dan Emperor is also one of the 9 Emperor Kings? I wonder how strong this guy is, and this map might be related to him. Although the Fire Divine Palace would not attack the Chen Martial continent for a short period of time, Chen Shang was worried that he would not be able to find the treasure based on the map. Let's open the remaining treasure chest first. Hopefully, it isn't some bullshit item. Back then, the Ice Dragon said that the items in these treasure chests weren't very good. Long Shui said. Chen Shang kept the map. If he wanted to go, he would need to find those places, and it would take him a long time to find them. He continued to use the heaven-suppressed Immortal Monument S to restore the Ice Dragon sword sheaths to their original state. He was finally able to open the last treasure chest. Because the last treasure chest was not very good, Chen Shang was not as excited as last time, but even if the remaining treasure chest could not produce a good item, he would not be too disappointed, because he had already obtained a hammer of God, and would be very satisfied. The last one, let's see what's inside. Chen Shang rotated the sword sheath, releasing all the energy from the sword sheath. This time, he was surprised. The lid of the treasure chest suddenly popped open, only to see a burst of red light coming out, followed by a blood-red dagger floating out of the treasure chest. Opening the treasure chest actually took out such a lethal weapon. The demonic chi alone made Chen Shang feel extremely uncomfortable. The dagger released a glaring evil blood light, which flew over. Chen Shang had no time to dodge. The dagger stabbed at his chest, but his profound WU diamond armor appeared at the first moment, and blocked the life-stealing attack. Chapter 1228. Although it looked no different from an ordinary dagger, the scene just now had shocked Chen Shang. If not for the fact that profound WU diamond armor had appeared quickly, he felt that after the dagger had pierced into his body, it would have released a strong demonic energy that wreaked havoc in his body, destroying his dantian and destroying his divine sense C. This demonic energy was simply too terrifying. That was close. That strike just now, even a immortal monarch would have died. Chen Shang said with fear still lingering in his heart. After that he picked up the dagger. Other than it being slightly heavier, it looked really no different from an ordinary dagger, only that its shape was somewhat old and rough. This thing must have been used by a powerful warrior from the Devil Cultivator. It has been refined using his own demonic energy for many years. Even a divine craftsman would not be able to create it in a short period of time, so which powerful Devil Cultivator is it? After Bai Yu finished speaking, she began to think deeply, recalling some of the ancient secrets she had told him. This treasure chest was left behind when DTN was finished. It should be the experts of that period of time. We will definitely not know how many experts there were during that period of time. Maybe Duan Chong or the White Tiger will know about it. Su Meiyao said. Among the 10 kings of the 9 heavens, could there be a demon emperor? Perhaps that dagger was left behind by the demon emperor. Long Shui guessed. I think only Devil Cultivator of that level can make a normal dagger this powerful. Chen Shang held the dagger and poured it into the innate qi, only to see it once again emit a red glow, but it was extremely weak. However, when the red glow appeared on the dagger, Chen Shang felt that the dagger was extremely powerful. He swiped at the stone wall lightly, and an invisible qi flew out, which actually left a deep scratch. Amazing, he might really be a demon emperor. I wonder if the demon emperor is among the 9 emperor 10 kings. Bai Yu was the Devil Cultivator, so she was very curious about the Demon Emperor and felt that there should be one. Chen Shang said, "Go and ask the White Tiger, I have some things to do with him. This dagger is a good item. In the future when I meet the Devil Cultivator, I will use this to scare them." Chen Shang was very satisfied with the last treasure chest. In order to obtain the map and the dagger, he had no choice but to find the White Tiger. The place where the White Tiger Profound Realm was located was at the edge of the Chen Martial continent. However, ordinary people would not be able to enter even if they knew that there was a profound realm there. Chen Shang had a White Tiger divine weapon, so when he came here, as long as he sensed the profound realm and released his power, he would be able to open a door. As Chen Shang entered, he appeared in a sea of flowers. Standing on top of a small hill, he greedily breathed in the fragrant air that was accompanied by the flower fragrance, and looked at the large expanse of flowers in the distance. After passing through the beautiful green plains, he entered a forest. Tall and straight trees lined up neatly in an orderly manner. All kinds of bird calls made this forest bustling with activity, bringing endless life. Someone had entered. It didn't take long for the patriarch of the White Tiger fighting race, Bai Zhan, to arrive. He knew that Chen Shang was here, so he wasn't too nervous. I really want to stay here for a while. After Chen Shang saw Bai Zhan, he sighed. Anytime. Bai Zhan treated Chen Shang as if he were of the same generation, because he knew that Chen Shang had obtained the White Tiger divine weapon and the members of the White Tiger fighting race knew very well that it would only be obtained by defeating the White Tiger. The White Tiger had already changed its residence. It was no longer on the large tree from before, but inside a simple and unadorned small courtyard. He was not surprised that Chen Shang had arrived. The White Tiger wore a white robe. Although he had extremely strong strength, he did not make anyone feel any pressure. On his face was an amiable smile. At that moment, he was sitting next to a pond and he was actually fishing. A big white cat that likes to eat fish, that's how boring it is. Long Shui snorted. Chen Shang came to the White Tiger's side and also sat down by the pond. He was already very familiar with the White Tiger and was like friends with it, so he did not need to be courteous. You actually didn't come to save me. You are my dragon subduing school's great elder. Chen Shang joked. You are a dignified leader, you don't even need me, the great clan elder, to help you. Look, aren't you out now, and this is pretty good as well. If the White Tiger went to save Chen Shang, the Fire Divine Palace might just disappear right away. After the sound of the wind blowing, they could come out and cause some more trouble. Chen Shang recalled how, in order to escape, he couldn't help but let out a long sigh. At that time, I almost couldn't get out, it was really difficult for me to break free from that seal. The White Tiger changed its hand to the fishing rod and said with a smile, but you're still not out yet. Chen Shang laid down and looked at the dark blue sky within the White Tiger profound realm. He especially yearned for the tranquility here, but he knew that he was not fit to live such a peaceful life. Did you take revenge on the Fire Divine Palace? The White Tiger looked at Chen Shang and asked. Of course they did, they destroyed one of their immortal kings. What made them most distressed was the fact that the Ice Emperor was completely destroyed by me, but they didn't know that I did it, they still thought that I was sealed. Chen Shang laughed proudly. Ice Emperor, this guy is still alive. The white tiger frowned and pulled up the fishing rod, then threw the fishing hook out. He also felt very surprised when he heard about the matter with the Ice Emperor, and he had even been completely killed by Chen Shang. Fire Divine Palace wants to revive the Ice Emperor, but it just so happens that I know their plan. After I came out of that damn seal, the first thing I did was to send that Ice Emperor on his way. Fire Divine Palace is currently half dead. If I were to revive the Ice Emperor, it would definitely be able to provide them with a lot of power. Back then, Qi Shi had a great battle with them, but they were not killed completely, and at their level, it would be difficult for them to die entirely. I never thought that you would actually kill them. How did you do that? If I say it out loud, you won't despise me, right? This was a big secret of Chen Zhang's, but he could confess it to the White Tiger as it would allow him to obtain more of the secrets of the past from the White Tiger. The White Tiger thought for a bit. It knew that Chen Shang had many wicked tricks, but no matter how it thought about it, it just could not understand how Chen Shang had completely killed the Ice Emperor. Even the Ten Heavens Supreme Lord would not be able to do that, otherwise the Ice Emperor and the Fire Emperor would not be able to live past this era. Chapter 1229. The White Tiger thought for a while, and still felt that it was better not to know. He had already seen some things from Chen Zhang's eyes. You didn't come to me just to show off how you killed Ice Emperor, right? The White Tiger did not continue asking Chen Shang how he killed Ice Emperor. Chen Shang looked at the pond, grabbed a handful of grass and threw it in. Looking at the rippling water, he asked, "What fish is in the pond you're in? You're so bored." "There must be fish." The White Tiger laughed. "If you have something to say, just say it directly. Don't beat around the bush." Chen Shang scratched his head and said, "Right now, there are two powerful immortal kings in Fire Divine Palace. If they want to attack Chen Martial Continent, it would be very difficult for me to stop them." This was one of the reasons why Chen Shang was looking for the White Tiger. "If it was before, I'm afraid I would have made my move. Now you don't have to worry." After Chen Shang heard this, he became even more suspicious. Previously, he felt that the immortal kings were worrying about something, so he did not dare to personally attack the Chen Martial Continent, otherwise, it would only take a day or two and it would not cause the Fire Divine Palace to lose so many people. The White Tiger said, "In this new Imperial Heaven world, there is a new law, which is a very mysterious power. This law will change with the growth of the new Imperial Heaven world, and this law power is born to allow the reborn DTN to grow in a more equitable environment. At the same time, it will also prevent the newly born DTN from being destroyed by a powerful force. In other words, the power of law would deal with those immortal kings. If those immortal kings were to make a move, would they be annihilated by this power of law?" Chen Shang was secretly rejoicing in his heart. The power of the ancient code was extremely mysterious. It was a powerful force that could maintain the flow of the world. The White Tiger shook its head and said, "It's not destroying the immortal king, but destroying the world. If the law energy senses that this newborn and fragile DTN is threatened by a powerful force, that power will destroy all living beings in this world and give birth to new ones. This way, the world won't split apart again." When Chen Shang heard this, he sucked in a breath of cold air. He was no longer worried about the threat of the immortal kings to the Chen Martial Continent, but rather the threat of the entire DTN. If this came out from someone else's mouth, Chen Shang would think that these words were mysterious, but since it was said by the White Tiger, he had no choice but to believe it. Seeing Chen Zhang's expression, the White Tiger laughed and said, "You don't have to worry about them taking action to kill all of you. I won't let them destroy this world, which is also why I am in this world." Of the four divine beasts, only the White Tiger was still here. Chen Shang only thought that he was reincarnated because he had been killed by someone stronger than him. "You are here to protect the new Imperial Heaven world?" Chen Shang asked. "If I could protect him, then he wouldn't have broken down. I am just an unlucky person who was forced to stay here by all sorts of means. I am only responsible for allowing the new Imperial Heaven world to grow. Once the new Imperial Heaven world is fully matured, it will not be something that I can control, and at that time, the power of the ancient code will not be restricted anymore." The White Tiger smiled bitterly. With regards to the matters of the new Imperial Heaven world, that was still far in the future. Knowing that the immortal kings would not interfere, Chen Shang felt more at ease. "Grand Elder, how much do you know about the matter of the 9 Emperor Kings back then?" Chen Shang asked. "The 10 kings of the 9 emperors, is this something that was passed down?" I have never heard of the 10 kings of the 9 emperors before, but I know that the 9 emperors are fellows who rule over 9 realms. The 5 emperors are 5 experts who are very strong, unworthy of the title of emperor, and are respected by many. Their strengths are all around the same level. The story of the 9 emperor 10 kings was something that Chen Shang had heard from Duan Chong, but when it came to the white tiger, there was a huge difference. The white tiger continued, perhaps some of the records that were passed down are too ancient and are mistaken for the 9 emperor 10 kings. Although it's said that they're from the 9th heaven, how can the emperor be compared to them? Chen Shang nodded and asked, then are the Dan emperor and the demon emperor among the 9 emperors? Logically speaking, it should be hard for you to know about this. After so many years, even some of the old bastards in heaven realm wouldn't know about this. How did you know? The white tiger was very curious about this. Why is it that these things have to be sealed off? Even if it were to be passed down, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. From the white tiger's reaction, it could be seen that the Dan emperor and the demon emperor existed. Because, the white tiger sighed and did not say it out loud, causing Chen Shang to secretly curse a few times in his heart. Why are you asking about the demon emperor and the Dan emperor? Did you have news about them? Among the 9 emperors back then, only the ice emperor was able to determine whether they were dead or alive. The white tiger laughed. Chen Shang took out the map and the dagger. After the white tiger saw the dagger, it hurriedly put down the fishing rod. Moreover, its murderous aura was also released, as if it was attracted by the mysterious dagger. It really is the demon emperor's item. The white tiger took a deep breath and suddenly recalled the past. It couldn't help but sigh. It looks like the demon emperor has been using this dagger for many years in order to cause this to happen. But a character like the demon emperor often uses this dagger, it doesn't quite make sense. Chen Shang said. The demon emperor is a very insidious guy. He was also known as the great emperor of assassination. He was originally a very ordinary mortal, but due to a stroke of luck, he became an assassin and then grew up step by step. He cultivated the demonic way, and became a strong warrior in the devil cultivator. The white tiger picked up the dagger, played with it for a bit, and then returned it back to Chen Shang. The white tiger took up the map that seemed very old, and continued to say, logically speaking, this dagger should have belonged to the demon emperor. It should have been nurtured by his demonic energy for many years, so it wouldn't be wrong to say that it is a divine soldier. But, why would it flow out? Could it be that he died? This was what Chen Shang had taken out from the treasure chests, and the treasure chests were left behind by the ancestors of the ancient powers that were hidden in the chaotic mountain for their descendants. Chapter 1230. How did you get it? The white tiger asked. How did you get it? The white tiger asked. It's a long story. Chen Shang was a little embarrassed to tell the white tiger about the chaotic mountain, because he did not explain everything to them. It was also at that time that they attracted the attention of Long Yanjing, and even killed a small holy dragon. Now that he thought about it, that Prince Imperial Dragon was really done in by Chen Shang, and it was even framed on someone else's body. Thinking back to this matter, Chen Shang had disappeared during that time and appeared again later. You brat, you are truly too reckless. However, I still do not understand some things. Back then, there was someone who personally saw that Super Yuan sect leader killing someone. From Chen Zhang's expression, he could tell that the Prince Imperial Dragon was done in by him, although Chen Shang did not go into detail. The person who I saw with my own eyes was my insider. Chen Shang chuckled, and then explained in detail what happened in the Chaotic Mountain's treasure chest. Chen Shang took out the Hammer of God. He knew that the white tiger had definitely seen this thing before. As expected, after he took it out, the white tiger immediately became excited. I didn't think that this thing would fall into your hands. You should be using this thing to hit people all day long. I wonder if the old man would be angered to the point of spitting out blood if he found out. Based on Chen Zhang's personality, he could guess that Chen Shang had used the hammer to kill many people. Quick, take a look at this map. This should be something from the Dan Emperor. 3 treasure chests. It's the most inferior one to the Dan Emperor right now, Chen Shang said. The white tiger opened the map and took a look. After a brief look, its expression changed and became very serious. Within the 9 emperors and 5 venerables, the Dan Emperor is one of them and is rumored to be the strongest of the 9 emperors. Moreover, this guy is pretending to be 2 identities, and both the Dan Emperor and the senior pill elder are him. I only found out later. The white tiger said. One person was enough to earn 2 titles in 9 emperors and 5 venerables. This person was truly powerful, and made Chen Shang feel that there was a future for him to refine pills. Then what's the use of this map? Chen Shang was most concerned about this. If the White Tiger knew the location of the map, he would definitely go there. I don't know, but the Dan Emperor himself drew it. There is a pattern on it that he can only draw. The thing at the north is just a mess, only he can draw it with such charm, so it must be his hand. As to what exactly he is hiding, you have to take a look to know. The White Tiger said. Where? If he knew where it was, Chen Shang might have already gone over. Is this DTN? No, it should be above Heaven Realm. You can go there in the future and find those places, but that place is very dangerous, so before you go there, you must make sufficient preparations and must have sufficient strength to do so. Otherwise, you will very easily die there. It was very obvious that the White Tiger knew what kind of place that was, but it did not say it explicitly. He knew that no matter what, Chen Shang would definitely go and take a look. Chen Shang kept the map. He was a little disappointed that he was not at DTN's level. You don't have to worry about those immortal kings, at most they are just people who are plotting behind their backs or guiding them when it comes to cultivation. They won't do anything, and if they dare to use the power of the immortal king, then I will be able to sense it too, so I will immediately go out and stop them. The White Tiger said. Chen Shang was relieved a lot now, and left the White Tiger profound realm at ease. Even if he revealed his identity now, those immortal kings would probably not dare to make a move against him, and that was also the reason why the Fire Divine Palace Mistress was always guarding the seal. Because he missed this chance, the second time would be when he could not use his strongest power, otherwise, he would be killed. After leaving the White Tiger profound realm, Chen Shang looked at the blue sky outside. Even though it was very quiet in the wilderness, there was a little less peace. Chen Shang ran towards a nearby city. There was a transmission array there, allowing him to quickly reach the Divine Weapon's heavenly country, but he saw a large group of people on the streets. Amongst these few hundred people, there were more than 100 who were children, and a few dozen who had turbid and HES in their bodies. However, their strengths were all average, and their strongest were only at the peak of the extreme realm. It was obvious that this group of people had escaped from somewhere else and came here. Although the Chen Martial continent had always been under attack from other forces, it was just that the border was a little chaotic. It was very safe inside the Chen Martial continent, so it wasn't strange for them to have fled here. Chen Shang walked over and asked a big-sized man, who was also the strongest here, a rogue cultivator. Brother, where did you come from? What happened over there? Chen Shang asked. Since he had met with this, he could not ignore it. He suspected that it was caused by the invasion of the spirit demon beings. He had obtained most of the inheritance from the devil-suppressing heavenly Venerable, so he definitely could not sit still and do something like using the green dragon demon-slain broadsword. Over there, the demons are attacking our city. We are the only ones that survived. The man sighed and looked at the refugees. Chen Shang looked at the direction the big-sized man pointed, then went through space and disappeared without a trace. This made the big-sized man startled, but he knew that he was definitely an expert, and one that wanted to kill the demon. He quickly passed through a large mountain range and saw the city. However, the city was no longer there, it was just a wasteland, and when he looked around, he did not find anyone alive there. There were also no demons there, but it was filled with a dense demonic aura, so it should be the devil cultivator that came from Devil Realm. There aren't many of them, only 20 to 30 of them. But if they're very strong, destroying an entire city would be a piece of cake. Long Shui said, I'll look for traces of them right now. Chen Shang came to the side of the burned and smashed city and could not help but angrily say, this should be a city without any powers protecting it from behind, otherwise it would not be attacked by such destructive attacks. The devil cultivator inside the devil realm is really too overbearing. There are already many resource-rich areas in the human realm that they occupy. They do not even need to lay their hands on this kind of city that has no value at all. These devil cultivator are not ordinary devil cultivator. Could they be those fellows? Bai Yu said. Although she was a devil cultivator, she had a very strong self-binding ability and would definitely not do such a thing. Chapter 1231. The demonic energy in these devil cultivator are indeed different from those I'm familiar with. Chen Shang nodded his head. In the past, all the devil cultivators that he had met, even those like devil race S, were all extremely gentle. Chen Shang could not help but ask, what kind of devil cultivator is this? It's really different from the others. Bai Yu said in a cold voice, This kind of devil cultivator is known as the ferocious devil, and is extremely savage. The reason they are like this, one part is because of their bloodline's inheritance, and another part is because of their cultivation methods. There are also many such fellows in the heavenly demon realm, and when they go crazy, even if they are the same kind as them, they will brutally kill them. However, these ferocious devils would not normally gather together. Now that they are attacking the city together, they should have been gathered together. If there is a power formed by a ferocious devil within the devil realm, then it would be too scary. Long Shui was told where the group of ferocious devil went. Chen Shang immediately rushed in that direction, and said with a stern expression, "If these ferocious devil and the other ferocious devil join hands, or are controlled by the Fire Divine Palace, then we'll be in trouble. We have to get rid of them, we can't let them appear in the human realm." It's very possible, because Wang Chongjin is a devil cultivator. She has stayed in the heavenly demon realm for a long time and has mastered many powerful devil arts. If she uses these devil arts to rope in these ferocious devil, and make them even more powerful, it wouldn't be difficult for the Fire Divine Palace to control this group of ferocious devil. Wang Chongjin is a devil king herself, so she has absolute deterrence. Bai Yuyu's tone was filled with killing intent. We must definitely destroy the power of the ferocious devil, and make them stronger. If we attack the human world again, the consequences would be dire. Chen Shang had already used his fastest speed, but he was still too slow. He followed the direction that Long Shui pointed to and arrived at a city, but this city had already turned into ruins with no signs of life, not even a corpse could be found. The bodies were not burned, of course, and there was no sign of death here. I wonder what kind of demonic technique they are using. In short, if the people here disappear, it will definitely increase their strength. Bai Yuyu carefully recalled his knowledge of devil arts. Other than the devouring magic Kung Fu, there were also other devilish arts that could increase the power of the devourer. Maybe it's not the devouring of people, but the capture of these people. Chen Shang saw many footprints outside the city. A large group of people had once gathered outside and then mysteriously disappeared. If that's the case, then why did he bring these people away, and why did he do the labor work to extract the spar? Su Meiyao said. If that's the case, it will definitely anger the people of the human realm, and if it is known by many great powers, it will definitely be exterminated. Right now, the demons have invaded the humans, obtaining a few sparite vein, but they are told to use their demons to extract them. This is something that many powers in the human realm can tolerate. Chen Shang shook his head. The bloodthirsty demon attack should be right. This kind of demonic art requires the most ordinary blood and a large amount of it. It is very likely that they will capture a group of people and select a good blood seedling from among them. Bai Yuyu's voice suddenly became very cold. This kind of demonic technique is already considered very evil. Back then, it was already forbidden by a few large families of the devil realm. Chen Shang followed them for 2 days before finally arriving at a relatively large city. After arriving there, the aura had disappeared, and it was at the place where the transmission array had disappeared. After asking around, he found out that there were more than 30 people wearing red clothes who had suppressed thousands of people into the city, and then left via the transmission array. This city was controlled by the Fire Divine Palace. Chen Shang felt that the ferocious devil powers that cultivated the bloodthirsty demonic art should be related to the Fire Divine Palace. Chen Shang did not learn where the group of ferocious devils had pressured the thousands of mortals to go, and in the end, they came to the city lord's mansion and took down a person with a relatively high status. Only after using the soul-absorbing devil spell did he learn that this group of people had been sent to Ferocious Devil's city. But according to his inquiries, this ferocious devil was a very prosperous city, comparable to a large city of humanity. There were no conflicts of all sorts, and it was not the ferocious devil that Bai Yuyu had mentioned. Could it be that the ferocious devil is able to control that kind of savage personality? Bai Yuyu said doubtfully, "Let's go take a look. If this group of people can control the viciousness of others, then it means that they have already done what the people from the heavenly demon realm above can't do. Maybe the reason they came to human realm to look for the blood seedling was to make themselves stronger, so that it would be easier to attack the Chen Martial continent." Chen Shang entered the transmission array and was teleported to Ferocious Devil City. Wang Chongjin was the devil cultivator, so the devil realm was basically under the control of the Fire Divine Palace. Chen Shang had to admit that the Fire Divine Palace was powerful, and more than half of the human realm was under the control of the Fire Divine Palace. However, this made the demons rob the human realm even more violently. Because there were no fire divine palace and many powerful forces blocking them, the human realm that the demons could easily invade, was currently only the small and medium-sized forces that were under attack by the demons. And, the large powers had basically submitted to the fire divine palace, while the demons listened to the fire divine palace. In the end, all of the small and medium-sized forces suffered, because the fire divine palace did not need them. Furthermore, they were given to the small and medium-sized forces as gifts to rope in the demons, allowing the demons to ravage them. There were also only a few major powers that could contend with the demons. But they were not many, and were definitely not in charge of other areas in the human realm, and could at most be in charge of their own territory. The Chen Martial continent was just an example, so the Chen Martial continent had already begun to send people around to make contact with the big heads of the small and medium-sized forces, asking them to temporarily put down some things, and gather at the Chen Martial continent. When he arrived at Ferocious Devil City, although Chen Shang had already known about what was happening there, but when he saw it with his own eyes, he couldn't help but be surprised. This city was like the prosperous large cities in human realm, with clean and wide streets, brand new and grand buildings, and extremely good-natured people. There were also many people shouting and selling on the streets. Walking on the streets, Chen Shang suddenly saw some communication signals, drawn in various locations. They were unique to the Dragon Subduing School, only the core elders of the Dragon Subduing School knew about them, such as Yun Xiaodao and the rest. Someone had left a secret signal here, meaning that there were people from the Dragon Subduing School here. From the looks of the marks, Chen Shang knew that they had not been here for long. My Dragon Subduing School's people are moving here, what exactly is it? Chen Shang suddenly felt that it was funny. He was the leader, but he did not know what exactly he was going to do. Chapter 1232. This was the gathering point of the Ferocious Devil, and now that there were people of the Dragon Subduing School here, in order to find out what the disciples of the Dragon Subduing School were doing here, Chen Shang had to follow those secret signals and search for a way to communicate with them. After entering, he sensed a trace of an extremely familiar aura. It was Yun Xiaodao and Zhu Rong. It's actually those two fellows. What are they doing here? Chen Shang had not seen them for a long time, but he was still hiding his identity right now, so he knew that not many people could come out from the seal. In order to keep it a secret, he did not want too many people to know. After considering it, Chen Shang decided to follow Yun Xiaodao and Zhu Rong for the time being. He felt that they were also here for the Ferocious Devil. The group of Ferocious Devils that came back this time had gained a lot of things, and had captured a large group of people. As long as they asked around, they would know, and it was not the first time these Ferocious Devils went out to arrest someone. It had been like this for a long time, and these people were all mortals. Chen Shang and Zhu Rong also stayed in this inn, but Zhu Rong did not notice him. Late at night, around 20 more people entered the inn and entered the large room that Yun Xiaodao and Zhu Rong had wrapped up. These people were all groomed by the Duan clan. Chen Shang suspected that the Duan clan was responsible for investigating and assassinating people under the Ten Heavens Supreme Lord at that time. If not, their concealing ability would not have been so great. If not for Long Shui, it would have been difficult for Chen Shang to discover them. Can you overhear them? Chen Shang asked. Originally, he planned to wander into that room, but Yun Xiaodao and the others were extremely vigilant, as they had already laid out a strange array inside, preventing him from doing so. No, they seem to be carrying a small formation plate with them. They can release a very strong secrecy formation in a short period of time and envelop their rooms. Long Shui said. Who exactly gave them this thing? Chen Shang felt a little ashamed, because he was the leader of the Dragon Subduing School, but he did not really understand the Dragon Subduing School's overall strength. He did not even know who gave him such a powerful thing like Yun Xiaodao. After an hour passed, the 20-odd youths walked out from the room. They rushed out of the tavern and split up, with Yun Xiaodao and Zhu Rong following closely behind. They were scattered and did not gather together. We just need to follow little Yun and that damn fatty. Long Shui said. When Chen Shang and Long Shui used the divine traveling technique, it was as if they were floating in mid-air, following others but no one else could see them. This was the power of the divine way. Chen Shang was still in the tavern, but just as he was about to leave, a group of red-robed burly men suddenly rushed in. Their faces were filled with anger, their bodies emitted a violent demonic qi, holding onto a sharp weapon that made people's hearts tremble. They rudely arrived at the second floor, and kicked out of the room where Yun Xiaodao and were in, but they did not see anyone inside. These are the Ferocious Devil. They have discovered the whereabouts of Yun Xiaodao and the rest. Yun Xiaodao was slightly surprised in his heart. Yun Xiaodao and the others reacted quickly enough, so they were not caught by the group of ferocious devil. The tallest ferocious devil said angrily, "Just what kind of background does this group of bastards have? Just yesterday, the moment they entered the city, over 30 of our men had died for no apparent reason. How in the world did they do it?" Yun Xiaodao, Zhu Rong and the others were searching for news and assassinating someone. Although they had exposed their location, they were all trained so they should be able to hide very quickly. Zhu Rong and Yun Xiaodao left separately, but met up again during the day. At this moment, they had all turned into well-dressed rich families, and stayed in a very high-end hotel. The other 20 are in here, but this time they're not together. Long Shui said. Is this the hiding place of the ferocious devil? They all disguised themselves to gather here, I have a feeling that they are going to attack. Chen Shang said. Long Shui waited for a moment before replying, there are a few huge residences, but I did not sense any auras from the ferocious devil. Maybe those ferocious devils have their own concealment methods as well, or maybe those ferocious devils just left that mortal in the vicinity. The blood drawing isn't done by those ferocious devils, it's done by a special person. Chen Shang said, those ferocious devils should not have the patience to do this kind of thing. It's possible, I'll go take a closer look and see if I can find those mortals. Long Shui released a few of his wandering souls and searched around the big houses carefully. Before long, Long Shui shouted, there is indeed a large group of people imprisoned inside. In order for these mortals to produce more blood as soon as possible, they have also provided many things that can greatly benefit. This group of ferocious devil, I must make them disappear from this world. Chen Shang clenched both his fists, and fiercely said, and that Wang Chongjin, I wonder how many more vicious techniques she still has. Suddenly, Yun Xiaodao and Zhu Rong flew out from one of the windows. Their speed was extremely fast. If one did not look carefully, it was difficult to notice, but when Chen Shang knew that they jumped out from the window of the building, Yun Xiaodao and Zhu Rong had already landed in the same courtyard, which was where the house was holding over 1,000 people. After Yun Xiaodao and Zhu Rong entered that courtyard, they touched upon an array formation, causing that large mansion to shake violently. A huge explosion also happened, causing the entire city to tremble. Soon after, sounds of fighting came from the hotel. There were more than 20 disciples of the Dragon Subduing School S in the hotel, clearly trying to stop the hidden Devil Cultivator S. These Devil Cultivator S should be trying to protect the mansion, but they were stopped now. Yun Xiaodao and Zhu Rong had already figured out the situation inside the house. Once they entered, they immediately used their fastest speed to remove the arrays and kill a few guards inside. Very quickly, Yun Xiaodao and Zhu Rong brought over 1,000 people and rushed out of the house, while the 20-odd young men inside the house had already taken care of all the Devil Cultivator S inside. The people who were originally inside the house, upon seeing the scene, naturally all left, not wanting to cause any trouble. Yun Xiaodao and Zhu Rong brought over 1,000 people into the great hotel, while on the many streets within the city, many red-robed ferocious devils rushed over, among them a few extremely strong ones. There's a transmission array in the hotel, looks like they've already arranged for it. Long Shui said. Don't even think about it, you guys should be from Dragon Subduing School, right? It was all done by you guys underestimate ferocious Devil City too much. A thunderous roar came from the distance, deafening everyone present. From the momentum, they could tell that this was a very strong ferocious devil. Attack that building together. Don't let them leave. He could already tell that Yun Xiaodao and the rest were trying to teleport the entire house. Chapter 1233. Ferocious Devil City was indeed a gathering place for ferocious devil. In a short period of time, a group of powerful ferocious devils rushed over from all directions. The restaurant had activated a formation for defense, and it would take them a while to activate the transmission array. Just then, Yun Xiaodao came out, holding a cold blade in his hand. He rushed towards a red ball of light. This ferocious devil is very strong, I wonder if this little Yun can handle him. Long Shui said, it's about time you make your move. Yun Xiaodao's current strength was not ordinary either. Facing a strong ferocious devil, he was not afraid in the slightest and directly charged forward. Clang, two powerful weapons clashed together, and a crisp sound accompanied by a mighty shockwave spread outwards. The buildings and floor tiles below were all lifted up by the shockwave and swept in all directions. Yun Xiaodao was pushed back, the blade in his hand also had a hole, with blood flowing out of the corner of his mouth. At the same time, Zhu Rong also flew out. The ferocious devil's sinister face was full of viciousness. This ferocious devil was twice as tall as Yun Xiaodao, and the blood-red blade in his hand was at least 2 people long, covered with a red evil qi, and from its aura, Yun Xiaodao was weaker than the head of the ferocious devil. High up in the sky, Yun Xiaodao was floating in the sky above the ferocious devil. The two of them were dealing with each other like dwarves, and the opponent's strength was also far above his. When the head of the ferocious devil saw that the person blocking him was a young lad, he became furious and shouted, "Brat, you think you can compete with me?" Seeing that Yun Xiaodao was about to be chopped into pieces, Zhu Rong yelled from afar, "Little Yun." In that critical moment, when Yun Xiaodao and Zhu Rong felt despair, Chen Shang flew out from the tall building. The gigantic blood blade fell, and when it cut down, that wave of energy had even caused the ground to crack, and even caused an extremely violent gust of wind to blow towards. Just as the blade was about to cut Yun Xiaodao's head open, a shadow suddenly flashed over. Ding! This time, the sound was much clearer. Moreover, it was much smaller than before and did not emit any sound waves. There were many ferocious devil who were shouting on the ground, but they suddenly quietened down. The person who had suddenly appeared was too shocking to them. Dang dang dang, there was another sound. The part of the huge blade that was cut by the dagger fell onto the ground and collided with a piece of rock. The huge and powerful thing was broken by a broken dagger just like that. All of you, quickly go back to that hotel and bring the person away. Leave this place to me. Chen Shang whispered to Zhu Rong and Xiao Dao, but at the same time, his dagger suddenly released a burst of extremely evil demon qi, flying straight into the sky. Yun Xiaodao and Zhu Rong found it hard to imagine that their savior was actually a powerful devil cultivator. They knew that they were no match for the ferocious devil leader, and now, there were over 1,000 mortals trying to save them. The dagger that Chen Shang had used had been taken out from the treasure chest by him. It was an important weapon that had once belonged to the demon emperor. The ferocious devil felt the overflowing demonic energy coming from the dagger and almost kneeled down to worship, but the group of young ferocious devil below could not handle the powerful demonic energy coming from the dagger, and all fell to the ground. Although it was just a little bit of the demon emperor's might, it was so terrifying that even Chen Shang couldn't help but admire those fellows that could be called emperors in the ancient times, but he felt that he had done well, and killed the ice emperor. This gigantic ferocious devil was indeed worthy of being called the head of the ferocious devil. Even though he felt fear, he still let out a wild roar, raised up the half-red giant in his hand and fiercely slashed at Chen Shang. Chen Shang dodged in a flash and arrived beside the ferocious devil head. Using the dagger to slash at his neck, a powerful force burst out from the dagger, bringing with it a strong demonic qi, as though it could cut through everything in the world. It was extremely powerful. Bastard! After the ferocious devil felt the extreme danger, he immediately turned his head, but he was still a little too slow. His head was sliced off, and some stuff flowed out, but the head of the ferocious devil did not die. Who are you? If you go against me, that is the same as offending the Fire Lotus Demon King. The head of ferocious devil said angrily, but the response he got was actually the fatal strike that Chen Shang had dealt him. Chen Shang held the dagger and used all his might to point it at the head of the ferocious devil. Then, he fiercely rushed forward and punched this head of the ferocious devil. Of course I know. I killed you to offend her. Chen Shang flew over again and activated Devil Suppressing Holy Power, secretly using the power of the Holy Devil Suppressing Seal. He used the Heaven Blasting Palm to attack the head of the ferocious devil, slaying him completely. After killing the head of the ferocious devil, the group of little ferocious devils immediately became terrified, but Yun Xiaodao and the others had already teleported away. Chen Shang followed the chant that Bai Yu had passed down to him, releasing a black flame, which condensed into numerous black fireballs, smashing down and burning the ferocious devils. The black flames quickly spread to the entire ferocious devil city. The other devil cultivators knew that there was a big battle within the city and had long slipped away. Although the devil cultivator were warlike, they were not stupid and would not provoke such a strong enemy. After burning down ferocious devil city, Chen Shang quickly left and returned to Chen Martial Continent. Right now, a few people were floating above ferocious devil city, who were being burned by the black flames. One of them was an old lady, Wang Chongjin, the Blazing Lotus Demon King. I haven't talked about this kind of flame for a long time. Black demon flame, there are only a few in the heavenly demon sector who know how to use this kind of flame, and there's actually someone who knows how to use it here. Wang Chongjin lost this batch of ferocious devil-s, causing her to feel so much hatred that her blood dripped. She knew that it was Dragon Subduing School who did it, but she couldn't go look for him now. Although she had the power of a demon king, she could not make a move. Even if the Fire Divine Palace attacked Dragon Subduing School, it would be a waste of her effort, because the Dragon Subduing School had hidden herself too deeply. She did not know how many powerful fellows were inside. Last time when she went to Dragon Subduing School to look for trouble, she found an alchemist who had decided to refine pills. The center of Evil Dragon Graveyard, Dragon Subduing School. Yun Xiaodao and Zhu Rong were currently wolfing down the sumptuous dishes on the table. Since they were able to complete such a difficult mission, they naturally had to reward themselves well. There were only the two of them here, and everyone else had their own missions. The majority of them were going to deal with the fiendish demons, so this was a type of experiential learning for them. Chapter 1234, Little Yun, who do you think that guy is? He's clearly a great devil, but he actually saved us. Zhu Rong held onto a roasted calf leg and bit off a huge chunk of meat. Other than us, leader, who else could it be? You pig of a brain like yourself can't even think of this. The elder brother Shen has already escaped from that dog shit of a seal a long time ago. The alchemist that lost completely to that old lady last time should be the elder brother Shen without a doubt. Yun Xiaodao said in a low voice. Of course, Zhu Rong had thought about it before, but he wasn't sure. Especially since Chen Shang still had that kind of powerful devil energy. So this guy had already ran out. Why didn't he tell us? Could it be that he's afraid of our big mouths? Zhu Rong chuckled. I keep my mouth shut, but as for you, this little Yun, you are a small person, but your mouth is big and fierce. You must keep it a secret, don't ruin my business. You're the one with a big mouth. Every time I'm at a table, I can't always win against you because my mouth is too small. You damned pighead, you should look more closely at your mouth. Yun Xiaodao was not convinced. If that's the case, then neither Shenxian nor that mad woman Bai died. Otherwise, that brat would have gone crazy long ago. Zhu Rong said. Enough, don't say any more. We just need to know. There's nothing else for us to do now anyway. Yun Xiaodao laughed. Shui Shenxian and Leng Yulin were already thought to be dead, but since the Divine Weapons Heavenly Country was still functioning normally, and Shui Shenxian did not show their faces, even if they faked their deaths, there was nothing inconvenient about it. Chen Shang had already arrived at the Chen Martial Continent's Divine Weapon Palace. The important people of the Divine Weapon sect were all inside the man-made Profound Realm, so the security at the entrance of the Profound Realm was extremely tight. It was therefore very difficult for ordinary people to enter, and it took Chen Shang quite a bit of effort to get people to bring him in. Shui Shenxian and Leng Yulin were in the Divine Weapon Profound Realm, just like usual. It was just that they rarely left the Profound Realm, and when they had something important to discuss with the elders, it would be fine. Chen Shang quietly went to Shui Shenxian's room. Shui Shenxian had just finished showering and was combing her hair. She was wearing very little, only a thin white muslin dress sticking closely to her perfect and wet body. Looking at it from the back, it was extremely enticing. My little wife, how does it feel to be faking your death? Chen Shang suddenly appeared from behind and hugged Shui Shenxian's waist. Surprised, Shui Shenxian's body trembled. The innate qi erupted, but after knowing that it was Chen Shang, she immediately retracted her power and pouted. Just as she turned her head around, her pink little mouth was held by Chen Shang. An impatient tongue entered her mouth, violently stirring until it was entangled with that soft and tender tongue. Only then was she satisfied and comforted, calmed down, enjoying this intimate entanglement. At this moment, they were like a married couple who had just gotten married. After all, they often separated, and not long after, Chen Shang had taken off the thin gauze dress she was wearing as a kiss. A pair of big hands was moving around the perfect jade body, caressing the beautiful things on it. The two of them kissed each other while breathing heavily, then they got into bed. Leng Yulin had been working very hard during this period. Whenever she had time, she would go train. She had just returned from cultivation elsewhere, and when she reached the hall, she heard very weak moans and the man's breathing, which she was very familiar with. Once elder brother came back, he started playing with senior sister. It was so boring, he took off all his clothes and rolled around on the bed. There was no point in bumping into him. Lang Yulin vaguely remembered that Chen Shang and Shui Shenxian did this at that cave. It seems that they will be working here for at least an entire day. It's better for me to continue practicing. Lang Yulin shook his head and sighed, before leaving again. Actually, Chen Shang and Shui Shenxian were also training, they were cultivating together. Daybreak had arrived, and the two of them had awoken after their moment of joy. Little scoundrel, why is your body so strong? Shui Shenxian fiercely slashed at the flesh on Chen Zhang's waist, but it did not cause Chen Shang to scream in pain. The degree of toughness of his body caused her to be extremely shocked. Didn't you also undergo the Nirvana tribulation? How did you do it? I risked my life just to pass the Nirvana tribulation. I already feel that I am fast enough. It seems that you have ascended faster than me. Chen Shang rubbed her chest and laughed. This is a secret technique that the elder sister Munger passed on to me and Yulin. It must not be told to anyone else, including you. Shui Shenxian scoffed, patted Chen Zhang's bad hand away, and walked towards the bathroom. After that, Chen Shang also followed with a smile on his face. After taking a shower with Shui Shenxian, they walked out of the room only to see Lang Yulin sitting in the middle of the hall, chewing on a snow pear. Lang Yulin said, "You all truly lost all hope, you all wasted an entire day on that broken bed, and today's cultivation has made me stronger, and also made me remember the drawing methods of several spirit arrays." Chen Shang pinched her face and laughed. "My good little sister is really hard-working, brother really didn't love you for nothing." Lang Yulin stuck out his tongue, and laughed. "Of course, little sister, I think that this is very strong. How about we go out and fight? It's more interesting than you and senior sister being able to sleep in bed every day." Seeing Chen Zhang's helpless face, Lang Yulin laughed again. "Old brother, I won't laugh at you guys. It's rare for you to come back, so just go crazy with senior sister." "Stupid girl, it's rare for you to be so enlightened," Shui Shenxian scolded. Lang Yulin pouted and said, "Brother, I am faking my death right now, I am not feeling happy at all. Something has happened to my icy wind valley, help me take a look." Chen Shang nodded his head. "That's good, I will go over now. Maybe Fire Divine Palace is up to something. Before they launch their all-out attack, they will weaken us, so we have to be on guard." Just as Chen Shang was about to leave, Lang Yulin pulled him back and said, "Brother, you should stay for a few more days, since it's not an urgent matter. I can't take responsibility for delaying you and senior sister. This girl is getting more and more enlightened, to actually know how to use me and Shenxian." Chen Shang pinched her nose and laughed. From Chen Zhang's point of view, although there were people missing in the Icy Wind Valley, they could not find out about it. This was a huge matter. At this critical juncture, such matters could not be ignored. Before he left, Shui Shenxian even warned him to be careful of that divine devil cult, because she felt that he had already arrived at the new imperial heaven world, and upon hearing the 3 words, divine devil cult, his expression became even more solemn. Chapter 1235. Originally, the region that Icy Wind Valley was in was an extremely cold place that was covered by ice and snow all year round, but it was no longer like this. Only a mountain range was still covered by ice and frost, and this was because the Icy Wind Valley was located in a place where a strange kind of cold energy could be felt. This was the first time Chen Shang had come to the Icy Wind Valley, and the ravine which was howling with cold wind was extremely fortified right now. In order to comply with Chen Zhang's previous plan, he had also let one of the elders from the Icy Wind Valley fake his death, and because of this, the disciples from the Icy Wind Valley were extremely vigilant. Even if Chen Shang possessed the jade tablet that he had given to him, he would not be able to enter it very easily, and he would still have to wait for the elder inside to come out. And Lang Yulin's death faked the efforts of the disciples from the Divine Weapon Sect in the Icy Wind Valley. For them, the Divine Weapon Sect was their second home, and only after receiving guidance from them could they grow into a powerful warrior, which allowed them to live a longer life. The death of the leader made them even more furious. What welcomed Chen Shang was a middle-aged lady with gray hair. Her hair was not naturally white like Lang Yulin's, but because her lifespan was almost used up. She was trying her best to maintain her appearance. Even if Lu Munger was here back then, he would still have to be extremely respectful to her. Although she was not born with very high cultivation conditions, by relying on her own ability, she was still able to reach this step. "Elder Pan, do you know what secrets those missing disciples have in Icy Wind Valley?" Chen Shang followed behind the Elder Pan. Facing the chaotic gale, they entered the valley and walked towards a building covered in snow. Inside Icy Wind Valley, it was as if there was a small village. When Elder Pan walked over with Chen Shang, many people greeted him. Elder Pan did not reply to Chen Shang. She closed her eyes slightly, and slowly brought Chen Shang into a cave that was deep inside. This Elder Pan must have been a beauty when she was young, but her current appearance was still very charming when she was in her middle years, but it had lost a lot of vitality. This was the obvious state when her lifespan was coming to an end. The tiredness on her face made her give off a very weak feeling, but Chen Shang knew that within her body covered by a white beast skin, there was still a very strong explosive force. "How is Yulin right now?" the Elder Pan asked softly, his voice weak. "She is well, Elder Pan. With your current condition, you should not have to go through so many things, leave it to others to do." Chen Shang sighed softly. She had heard Lu Meng'er talk about the Elder Pan before, and she had done a lot for him. "I have to do this kind of important thing myself. No matter what, my result will be the same." Elder Pan sat on a chair covered in thick beast skin, lazily leaning on a seat, one hand holding her cheeks, her eyes half opened, as though she was still dreaming. But Chen Shang was worried that she would close her eyes anytime. "Don't tell Yulin my current situation," Elder Pan said again. "Elder Pan, your current situation isn't too bad. As long as you have some time to make a breakthrough and pass through the 9 nirvana tribulations, you can ascend to the immortal world. You still have a long way to go." When Chen Shang saw the gray light in Elder Pan's eyes, he couldn't help but sigh. "As a person with mediocre aptitude, I have lived for so long. I am already very satisfied. Back then, many people with greater aptitude than me, people with greater aptitude, died long ago." The Elder Pan said, "Let's get to the point. The fact that Yulin sent you should mean that she has absolute trust in you." Long Shui frowned. This girl must have encountered some sort of disaster to become like this. From the vitality in her body, she shouldn't be so half dead. She must have had her life force sucked away. Chen Shang was surprised that his lifespan could also be sucked away. He said, "Elder Pan, with your current state, you can't even discuss business with me. Furthermore, you are unable to protect Icy Wind Valley." Chen Zhang's tone suddenly became stern, and then took out an longevity fruit and walked over. Even if the longevity fruit was not used to concoct pills, it would still have a good effect, and could increase the lifespan of the Elder Pan. "What is this?" Elder Pan said. Her vision had already blurred. This Elder Pan could be said to be one of the closer ones to Lu Meng'er and her. Since Chen Shang could save her now, of course he had to save her. "Just eat it, my time is short, I need to settle the matter here as soon as possible." Chen Shang handed the longevity fruit over. Elder Pan slowly raised her hand to receive it. Upon touching the longevity fruit, her eyes opened, and her vitality suddenly surged. "Hurry up and eat, I know you have a lot of things to tell me," Chen Shang urged. The Elder Pan had absorbed a bit of the life force inside the longevity fruit, allowing himself to have a bit of strength. After an hour or so, Elder Pan ate the longevity fruit and refined its life force. His hair gradually turned black and he became even younger, displaying his charm. "Just what kind of fruit is this? Just what kind of fruit are you, to have such a divine object? You have such a powerful character by Yulin's side, how could I not know that Meng'er is the person I watched as she grew up? I know more about the people around her." Elder Pan was now full of spirit, his face flushed red. He looked like a middle-aged man previously, but now he had turned into a charming woman in her 30s. "Thank you so much for giving me such a thing. It seems that I'll have to work even harder in the future to repay your kindness." Elder Pan let out a faint sigh. Chen Shang said indifferently, "In the future, you will have the chance to know who I am. Now, tell me the reason why you were in that state before. It doesn't seem to be natural, but man-made or perhaps because of some kind of cultivation technique you're cultivating." Elder Pan's body trembled, his gentle eyes suddenly became colder, causing Chen Shang to immediately become alert. He was originally just speaking casually, but he did not expect that what he said would be the truth. The Elder Pan actually wanted to kill him. Yulin really has sent a great figure. Elder Pan stood up and walked to his front, and stared at Chen Zhang's pair of deep eyes, wanting to see something. "To be honest, I don't believe that you would do something ungrateful to Yulin behind her back," Chen Shang said, "but you must have done something behind her back that cannot be exposed. Elder Pan, please speak honestly." Chapter 1236. Chen Shang faintly felt that the disappearance of a few of Icy Wind Valley's outstanding disciples had a lot to do with this Elder Pan. However, this Elder Pan was extremely concerned about Leng Yulin, because when she spoke, the first thing she asked was Leng Yulin's current situation. Don't worry, I won't kill you. I can't do ungrateful things. Elder Pan returned back to his chair. If not for you, I would be dead for sure. I might not even be able to get my hands on what you just gave me even after going to Heaven Realm. I've said it before, you'll know about it in the future. Chen Shang said. If you don't confess to me, I'm not at ease in telling you such an important matter. The Elder Pan said. Chen Shang also sat down, and laughed. Why don't you tell me first? I'm not at ease with you either. Although I gave you a longevity fruit, it doesn't mean that I trust you completely. When the Elder Pan heard the 3 words, longevity fruit, her heart skipped a beat. She had thought that there would be some higher-level spirit fruits that could increase lifespan, but she didn't expect it to be immortal fruits like the longevity fruit. My name is Pan Yunlin, I am a follower of Divine Devil Cult. This Elder Pan's words greatly surprised Chen Shang. When he first came to the Icy Wind Valley, Shui Shenxian had repeatedly reminded him to pay attention to the Divine Devil Cult. At that time, he still felt it to be strange, and only responded once, but he did not think that it would actually have something to do with the Divine Devil Cult. The founder of the Divine Devil Cult was a person who had mastered the Divine Way and the Devilish Way, claiming that he was a heavenly slave who specialized in killing outstanding talents, and Leng Yulin belonged to this category, but there were disciples of the Divine Devil Cult beside them. Chen Zhang's killing intent swelled up, and the Demon Emperor's dagger appeared in his hand. As expected, you do know about the Divine Devil Cult. Not many people know about the Divine Devil Cult. Pan Yunlin was also surprised by Chen Zhang's reaction, but pretended to be very calm. Previously, Dongfang Jing and her father had met the disciples of the Divine Devil Cult above him, and Dongfang Lingyun had died at that time. Are you related to the missing outstanding disciples of the Icy Wind Valley? Chen Shang asked coldly. Pan Yunlin did not immediately answer, but sneered, you think you can kill me? You should want to know when I joined the Divine Devil Cult. You think I can't kill you? Chen Shang also sneered. I can tell you this. Right now in New Imperial Heaven World, those immortal kings are not allowed to take action. Therefore, my current strength is considered very strong here. You are wrong to think that I did not undergo the 9 Nirvana tribulations. Pan Yunlin's mature charm was full of pride. She really did not have the intention to kill Chen Shang, and now Chen Shang also felt that this woman in front of him was extremely complicated. Chen Shang scoffed, then what do you think my strength is, an arrogant woman? Since I dare to save you, I will have the power to restrain you. Pan Yunlin's eyes suddenly flashed with a purple light, causing Chen Shang to be secretly surprised. He anxiously used his strength and prepared to fight. The purple glow in Pan Yunlin's beautiful eyes suddenly disappeared, and she actually started giggling charmingly. Little fellow, don't be anxious, I didn't think that you're actually a young kid. You've merely transcended the 7 Nirvana tribulations. I'm not wrong, I just don't understand how you managed to gain Yulan's trust and how she entrusted you to do such a great thing. Moreover, you're so young and yet you already have a longevity fruit. What made Pan Yunlin surprised was that Chen Shang was actually still very calm, and did not become surprised after having his strength seen through by her. Pan Yunlin's words put Chen Shang at ease. He was a little worried that he would be completely seen through by this woman, but it was only to see the strength of his innate qi. Pan Yunlin's expression suddenly became cold, and said seriously, young man, I know you're worried about Yulan, but I can guarantee that I won't do anything to let her down. I have always been protecting her in Shui Shenxian, and as for the matter regarding Divine Devil Cult, it's better that you don't know about it. Previously, Shui Shenxian had reminded Chen Shang to pay attention to the Divine Devil Cult, and he felt that Shui Shenxian already knew something. Do Shui Shenxian and Leng Yulin also know about the matter between you and Divine Devil Cult? Chen Shang asked. Shenxian knows one thing, although she looked like a fairy, she was not like Yulan, who even if she was in Divine Weapon's heavenly country, she would still know a lot about the affairs here. Previously, she had already sent people to secretly investigate, and even captured a disciple of Divine Devil Cult, but she did not find out anything from the disciple. Pan Yunlin's face revealed an expression of admiration. What she did exceeded my expectations. Once she asked me about the Divine Devil Cult. At that time, I said that I didn't know, but she definitely saw through it. You can go back now. In short, this matter wasn't done by the Fire Divine Palace. Pan Yunlin said. Chen Shang did not leave. Standing there, he lightly stroked his dagger as he said seriously, I must ensure the safety of Shui Shenxian and Leng Yulin, even though they trust you so much, you are still in danger. I must either kill you or find out about your situation, or else I won't leave. Pan Yunlin's face was extremely calm. He raised his head slightly and said, then come and kill me, my life is yours, you can take back the life you've bestowed upon me, but you can't force me to say what I can't say, come and kill me. Pan Yunlin really did not have any thoughts of resisting. From her eyes, it could be seen that death was nothing to her. Chen Shang stood there without moving. He was certain that he could easily walk over and cut off Pan Yunlin's head, but that would mean he did not know about the matters regarding Divine Devil Cult. He also did not know the reason behind the disappearance of those outstanding disciples. Walk up and pretend you want to kill her. Long Shui suddenly said. I feel that there's a guy hiding in the vicinity of this hall, carefully observing the situation here. If you pretend to want to make a move, maybe you can lure that guy out. Chen Shang quickly thought of something. The Divine Devil Cult was a huge and mysterious power, and it had already spread to the entire new Imperial Heaven world. There definitely wasn't just one person, it was a group of people. Well, anyway, you're a dead man. Chen Zhang's killing intent suddenly surged out. The killing intent caused Pan Yunlin to turn pale with fright. She never thought that such a young man would have such a terrifying killing intent. How long would it take for it to form? Pan Yunlin also thought that she had died. Although she had the power to resist, she still sat there with her head raised, with her jade neck facing Chen Shang. Just as Chen Shang raised his hand, about to use the dagger to stab Pan Yunlin's neck, a strong qi suddenly surged from behind him, and the person who was hiding appeared. Chapter 1237. Pan Yunlin had also sensed the aura, and her expression suddenly changed. She shouted in despair, don't kill him. However, Pan Yunlin's words were unable to stop the person who was determined to kill. A blood-red sword had already pierced Chen Zhang's body, and fresh blood dripped onto the ground. HMPH, this guy knows too much, he must be dead, and you are already a member of the Divine Devil Cult. If it wasn't for the fact that you still have some use, I would have killed those two little girls long ago, and let them truly die. You better listen carefully, you got lucky, and are still able to live. The person who suddenly appeared was a big bearded man, dressed in all white, with a normal appearance. He pulled out the sword that had pierced into Chen Zhang's dantian, causing Chen Shang to fall on the ground and ruthlessly trample on Chen Zhang's abdomen, causing a large piece of flesh to splash out. If you're lucky enough to survive, don't count on dying so easily. Even if you die, you will still be the ghost of the Divine Devil Cult. Just as he said the word, ghost, the big-sized man's dantian was suddenly pierced through from behind. Pan Yunlin, who was facing the big-sized man, saw a dagger in his hand, coming out from the big-sized man's abdomen. That dagger was precisely in Chen Zhang's hand. However, she had personally seen Chen Zhang's dantian being pierced through by a sword. After losing his power, Chen Shang was ruthlessly stomped into mincemeat by the big-sized man. Since you said it like that, I'll let you have a taste of what it is like to be the ghost of a Divine Devil Cult. It's hard to send you off. Chen Zhang's other hand was already condensed with a strong flame power. It merged with the powerful dragon power and body of Heavenly Sage and struck towards the back of the big-sized man. A slight tremor caused the iceberg to shake, causing a lot of snow to fall, and the big man's body was also turned to dust by the palm. Just what does this guy look like? He was killed by me before even seeing him. Maybe he is the guy the first mentioned before. Chen Shang blew at the dust on his hands, and the transformed body on the ground slowly disappeared. You, Pan Yunlin slumped on the chair, I should have long guessed who you are. As expected, the seal that can suppress the Immortal King can't even trap you. She could be said to be extremely familiar with Chen Shang, but she had never seen him before. Furthermore, she knew that Lu Meng'er had an extraordinary attitude towards him. Even though it was concealed well, she had watched over Lu Meng'er as he grew up, so she couldn't hide it from her. Even if Shui Shenxian and the others did not mention it, the entire new Imperial Heaven world would still be covered in it. Previously, Shui Shenxian and Leng Yulin had promised her that he would help her ask for some high-leveled medicinal pellets to extend her life, but now, Chen Shang had personally sent them over. Pan Yunlin had met this legendary man before, and he had lived up to his name. A disciple with pretty good strength in the Divine Devil Cult was killed by Chen Shang just like that, but Chen Zhang's cultivation was only at the Nirvana Tribulation level. Are you training in the Divine Path as well? The technique you used just now should be one of the divine abilities of the Divine Path. Pan Yunlin sighed and asked. Chen Shang did not answer. This was one of his big secrets, so he asked, you can talk about your relationship with Divine Devil Cult now. If necessary, I will eradicate Divine Devil Cult from existence. I have already been branded with the Divine Devil Cult's spirit mark. If I say it out loud, I will die. If you really want to know, then I will say it out loud. Pan Yunlin looked at Chen Shang with a pair of lifeless eyes. It seemed that she really wanted to die. Was it because he was controlled by the Divine Devil Cult? Chen Shang asked. Pan Yunlin nodded his head. This is not my original intention, there are some things that I cannot decide. If this goes on, even if no one kills me, I will kill myself, if not I will definitely do something that would let down those two little girls. The reason why I can live to this day is all because Munger's mother took me in back then, and told me to stay in the icy wind valley. Without waiting for her to finish speaking, Chen Shang extended his hand and pressed it on her head, and at the same time, poured a vast amount of divine power into it. Don't resist, I'll see if I can help you get that thing away. Chen Shang said. Please do not do this, if this spirit mark is no longer there, the Divine Devil Cult's experts will immediately come over. Pan Yunlin immediately used his mind to stop Chen Zhang's god power from entering her sea of consciousness. It's good that they came. I'll go look for them when I can. Chen Shang frowned. If you continue to resist, don't blame me for being impolite. Forget it, Pan Yunlin sighed, his entire body relaxed. As expected, Chen Shang found a spirit mark in her sea of consciousness, but that spirit mark was on the body of a 5 or 6-year-old girl. In Pan Yunlin's sea of consciousness, she already had divine soul and had even grown up to look like she was a few years old. The mind brand was right between her eyebrows, and it looked like a very, very small palm image. Little naughty dragon, is there any way to get rid of that thing? Chen Shang asked. Yes, but I'll have to control your divine power. Leave it to me. Long Shui was also spying on Pan Yunlin's sea of consciousness, she understood divine soul very well. Long Shui also released his extremely strong divine power and fused it with Chen Zhang's, enveloping the divine soul in Pan Yunlin's sea of consciousness. Ah! Pan Yunlin suddenly screamed, but was tied up by the water vine. Endure it, as long as you can endure through it, you will be free from the Divine Devil Cult, and I will take care of the rest. Chen Shang bellowed, causing Pan Yunlin's entire body to twitch and scream in pain as a burst of energy surged out from his body, resisting the pain. The duration was not very long, it only took 2 hours to complete. The spirit brand had already been separated and destroyed by Long Shui, and Pan Yunlin had already fainted. This Divine Devil Cult really does have some skill, and this divine soul should have been created by the Divine Devil Cult herself, and the innate chi in her body is gradually nurturing devil energy. It looks like it won't be long before she can truly step into the path of the gods and demons, becoming a true disciple of the Divine Devil Cult. When the gods and demons fuse, she will become extremely powerful. Long Shui said. It seems that I have to capture that fellow who helped her nurture divine soul. If I can obtain this method of giving birth to her soul, hee. Chen Shang laughed. Pan Yunlin, who had just fainted not long ago, suddenly opened his eyes and used all of his strength to grab onto Chen Zhang's wrist. The fellow from Divine Devil Cult will definitely rush here, quickly bring me into the stone room, where I can recover a little faster. Chen Shang carried Pan Yunlin and carried her into the stone room, letting her lie on an incomparably cold stone bed. You can leave, I'm going to take off my clothes. As Pan Yunlin said that, she had already taken off her outer clothes, revealing her alluring shoulders. Chen Shang anxiously ran out, cursing in his heart. You're already so old, and you still want to scheme about me, a little kid. You want to eat the old cow's tender grass. Chapter 1238. He knew nothing about the people from the Divine Devil Cult at all. The fellow he killed before died too quickly, and he did not get much useful information from it. Now, the only thing he knew was that the disciples of Divine Devil Cult all cultivated the divine way and all had divine soul. After Pan Yunlin stayed in the room for more than 2 hours, she opened the stone door and walked out. Are you all right? Chen Shang had been waiting impatiently outside, because he had many things to ask Pan Yunlin. It was about the Divine Devil Cult. It's much better now. If you have anything to say, just ask. I can tell you anything now. Pan Yunlin nodded and brought Chen Shang into an elegant little hall. Just now you said that the people from Divine Devil Cult are coming. What kind of strength did they have? Chen Shang wanted to ask a lot of questions, but seeing how nervous Pan Yunlin was with these disciples of the Divine Devil Cult, he felt that he should first understand a few things about the Divine Devil Cult, so that it would be more convenient to start later. All of them are in the late stage of the Immortal realm, but their divine soul is very strong, which isn't easy to deal with. All of them are in the late stage of the immortal realm, but all of their divine soul is very strong, which isn't easy to deal with. Pan Yunlin had already known that Chen Shang was also a spirit cultivator, and was very strong. It was just that he did not know what level Chen Zhang's divine soul had reached, or else he wouldn't be able to help her remove the imprint of the divine spirit. However, in terms of the divine way, he felt that no one could beat Long Shui, and when that time came, if no one could, he would let Long Shui take action. Chen Shang was suddenly looking forward to the arrival of the divine devil cult rankers, because he had long wanted to fight with some of the experts that cultivated the divine way. This was a rare opportunity. What about the outstanding disciples of the Icy Wind Valley S? How did they get lost? Chen Shang asked. He had come here for a reason, to clarify this matter. Previously, he suspected that it was the Fire Divine Palace who did it, so he was worried that the Fire Divine Palace's power might infiltrate. This was something that couldn't be done to them. Pan Yunlin said, I sent people to assassinate him. What? Chen Shang frowned, as he thought of something. Could it be that the disciples of these Icy Wind Valley have joined the Divine Devil cult? That's right. Pan Yunlin took out a longsword that looked like it was made of ice. It exuded a dense cold energy and she was carefully wiping it. Even though I have joined the Divine Devil cult, I would definitely not do anything that would let down those two girls, but the other disciples might not necessarily be so, and you already know the reason for the existence of the Divine Devil cult, and now that the Divine Devil cult has infiltrated here, his target is Shenxian and Yulan. Those fellows, however, were most trusted by Yulan and Shenxian previously, and they are all people who have obtained their acknowledgement. Pan Yunlin said with a cold face, the reason I joined the Divine Devil cult was because I was forced. At that time, they used those few disciples to threaten me, and they also promised me that they wouldn't restrict me too much, and that they wouldn't harm Shenxian and Yulan either. At that time, I didn't know that those few brats were colluding with the Divine Devil cult, and I felt that my lifespan was about to run out, so it was worth it to be able to use my own life to save those few outstanding disciples. Those few dead outstanding disciples had actually joined the Divine Devil cult before Pan Yunlin, and Pan Yunlin's loyalty to the Icy Wind Valley had caused him to secretly praise them. Initially, I had planned to join the Divine Devil cult and save those few disciples, and when the time came, I planned to perish together with the fellow from Divine Devil cult. But I found out later on that the disciple was also from Divine Devil cult, so I sent people to assassinate him, and the Divine Devil cult did not know that it was me, because if I personally made a move, it would be equivalent to betraying the Divine Devil cult, and that the demon god's brand would make my life better than death, but if I sent people to assassinate him, I would be fine. How did this happen? Your divine soul must have been cultivated for a period of time, otherwise it would have been impossible for you to reach this level. Chen Shang asked. It's been 9 years. At that time, you were just sealed not long ago, and those disciples were killed recently. I could already sense that they were preparing to take action. Pan Yunlin was extremely grateful to Chen Shang at the moment. If Chen Shang had not suddenly appeared here, she would not know what to do, because even if she had died, the Divine Devil cult would have still attacked Shui Shenxian and Leng Yulan. But it was different now. She had experienced Chen Zhang's abilities, and understood him even more. Chen Zhang's face became extremely cold, and his entire face was filled with killing intent. Divine Devil cult was someone very close to him and he definitely could not forgive this Divine Devil cult. Of course, even if you were to explain it to Yulan and Shenxian, they would not blame you, but I think that such a thing would require you to explain it to them personally. Let's first get rid of the Divine Devil cult, then talk about it. Exterminate the Divine Devil cult here. The Divine Devil cult is too strong. It is already not bad to be able to repel the experts they have brought here with them. If we are to completely eradicate the Divine Devil cult, we will have to pay a huge price, and the Fire Divine Palace is also eyeing us covetously. We cannot afford to waste time. Quote. As long as the other party did not have any Immortal King level rankers, Chen Shang was confident that he would be able to get rid of Divine Devil cult. In his opinion, Divine Devil cult was not like the Fire Divine Palace, who could rope in many strong forces to join them. Moreover, the disciples of the Divine Devil cult were all cultivating in the Divine Spirit or Demon sect, so they knew how to use some of their abilities. This increased the power of their individual combat, so right now, the Divine Devil cult was not too big in the sky of the Emperor realm, and there was no need for it. It would only be destroyed, because the Divine Devil cult was a place that specializes in the killing of talents, and there were a few talents in every force, so they had to do it secretly. He's coming. Long Shui sent a sound transmission to Chen Shang. Indeed, they are people with powerful divine soul. Although they are a bit weaker than you and me, but their cultivation in the devil way is actually very strong. They should have been devil cultivators early on, and their power in the devil way can't be ignored later on when they cultivate in the divine way. Chapter 1239. Chen Shang immediately said to Pan Yunlin, "Since they are here, you can go and see them. I will hide behind your back, and if a huge battle occurs outside, it will not affect the icy wind valley." Pan Yunlin nodded. "I will immediately send the order to seal off the entire icy wind valley and activate the strongest defensive formation. Furthermore, no disciples are allowed to come out, regardless of what happens outside." Until now, Pan Yunlin could only choose to believe in Chen Shang, believing that he could solve the problem that had been bothering her for a long time. After Pan Yunlin settled the matters with the icy wind valley, he flew out of the icy wind valley. Chen Shang hid himself and secretly followed behind her. "Elder Pan, the cultivation method you use to cultivate divine soul is harmful to you. It consumes a large amount of your lifespan, so when you see me, you become like that. As long as I follow the instructions, I can extend my lifespan a little. It's just that the method is too cruel and inhumane, so I could only let things take their course, but I never thought that the moment you arrived, you would be able to solve so many difficult problems." Pan Yunlin sincerely admired Chen Shang from the bottom of his heart. "After this, I'll give you a cultivation technique that trains in the divine way. Don't use the original cultivation technique," Chen Shang said. Pan Yunlin would definitely ascend to heaven realm in the future. At that time, he would continue to be with Lu Menger and the others at the top, and would be of great help to them. Therefore, he would definitely be of great help to her. Pan Yunlin gently landed on the snow, and gently stepped forward in the snow. Her black hair that was full of vitality danced in the wind, and her entire body, which was dressed in a green cheongsam, radiated vitality, made her look especially beautiful in the snow that was filled with death. Her beautiful and cold face was filled with seriousness, as she stared fixedly at the two figures that slowly landed in front of her. There were two people sent by divine devil cult, one old and one young. The old one had a child's face and crane hair, and was dressed in a white robe, looking like a master, while the young man beside him was a handsome young man. Although his face looked young and tender, his eyes gave off a sense of danger. When they saw Pan Yunlin become so young and his life force become so vigorous, they were extremely shocked in their hearts. It was because they knew that Pan Yunlin did not have much longevity left, so he should not be like this. "Pan Yunlin, what exactly happened to you? We felt your imprint disappear and you dropped it," the old man said in a cold voice, his face still angry. His body was exuding a demonic aura, as if he was ready to attack at any moment. "I didn't expect you to look so young and have such an interesting appearance. There are a lot of women around me, but they all seem to be trash now. Come back with us, we'll brand you with a new brand." The young man had a devilish smile on his face. His eyes that were filled with lust were burning hot, as if he could burn Pan Yunlin to ashes. After eating the longevity fruit, Pan Yunlin had regained his youthful appearance, but he was extremely charming and charming. Many men had no resistance towards this kind of woman. Pan Yunlin shouted coldly, "Impudent, just you, a demon brat, appearing in front of me caused me to feel like my eyes were dirty. Impudent, how dare you insult the son of our vice sect leader, you slut." The old man suddenly attacked and ruthlessly struck towards Pan Yunlin's jade face. "Old turtle, don't touch a beauty's face with your hands." Chen Shang suddenly appeared, holding the Devil Emperor dagger in her hand. She slashed across like lightning, releasing a burst of powerful demonic energy that enveloped the sky, causing people to tremble, the wind to change color. The old man's arm was cut off by Chen Zhang's dagger from the elbow. Blood spurted out and dyed the snow red. "Don't even think about touching her with your dirty hands. You've tortured her enough." Chen Zhang's voice was ice cold and filled with overflowing anger. The dagger in his hand glowed with red light, and with a roar of demonic chi, he slashed fiercely, cutting off the hand that the old man was using to attack him. This is the Heaven's End demon weapon." Both of his hands were broken, his chi flowing. He anxiously sealed his blood vessels, but following that, Chen Zhang's berserk palm strike seemed to be inflating his body, causing blood to gush out from his severed hands. All of these happened too fast. Even Pan Yunlin did not expect Chen Shang to appear so quickly, and his attacks were sharp and ferocious. In just a few blinks, he had cut off the both of the old man's hands. "Don't be so arrogant." The youth was not weak, he was even stronger than the old man. He let out a cold roar and swung his fist, releasing a dense black demonic aura. Seeing the fists coming towards him, Chen Shang immediately waved his fists towards it. You should not be so arrogant. Chen Zhang's fist condensed the immense power of his fleshly body, and after breaking apart the ball of black energy, the devil-suppressing holy power immediately surged out, directly purifying the terrifying devil energy released by the youth. Lastly, it was the bone-dissolving power transformed from the innate qi, which pierced through the youth's entire arm and completely melted away the bones within. The youth's arm, which had lost all its bones, instantly drooped. His handsome face was filled with shock and anger. The power of the bone-melting magic palm, you actually know the bone-melting magic palm. There weren't many people who understood bone-melting magic palm, but there were quite a few who knew about it. Every time Chen Shang used it, he would hear the same words. Old fellow, don't even think of touching him. When Pan Yunlin saw that the old man who had lost both his arms was going to use a spell to sneak attack Chen Shang, he immediately stabbed his sword into the old man's dantian. With a wave of his jade palm, the palm images flew in all directions and struck the old man's body. Elder Pan, don't kill him. Let his dog life be, I have a use for it. Chen Shang anxiously warned as he dodged to the side to avoid the young man's spear stabbing at him. Who the hell are you? Coming to my divine devil cult, you will definitely be treated as a distinguished guest who knows the devil Dao divine arts of the bone-melting magic palm. Let your father go. Your father doesn't care. Chen Shang took a step forward, traveled through space, and arrived beside the young man. Clenching his dagger tightly, he gathered his strength and pierced towards the youth's waist. Ah! The youth suddenly let out a heart-wrenching scream. It was extremely terrifying. After Chen Shang used the dagger to pierce through the youth's waist, his hand also sunk into the wound, breaking the dantian that was filled with demonic energy. I won't kill you. I'll keep you guys here to slowly play. Chen Shang took out a square cauldron and placed the two fellows inside, suppressing them. Pan Yunlin let out a long sigh, looking at Chen Shang with gratitude. She never thought that Chen Shang would be so angry because of her bullying. Chapter 1240, that is to say, after taking him down, I do not need to worry about Divine Devil Cult anymore, but the condition is that Divine Devil Cult will not suspect that the old man has fallen into our hands. Su Yun said in a low voice. Although Pan Yunlin was an old fool who had lived for a long time, she did not have the slightest idea on this matter. Go to the Divine Devil Cult. If we don't take care of their nest, how can we safely ascend? I'm guessing that the Divine Devil Cult would arrive while DTN's space was still not stable enough. Chen Shang said. Pan Yunlin did not want to provoke Divine Devil Cult. Although Divine Devil Cult did not have a large number of experts like the Fire Divine Palace, it was difficult for her and Chen Shang to completely destroy the Divine Devil Cult. Although she had already seen Chen Zhang's terror before, as well as that kind of bone-melting magic palm of the Devil Way, their powers were limited. How about? Pan Yunlin had planned to return to the Icy Wind Valley to call the other elders, but Chen Shang suddenly teleported through space and rushed in one direction. Go back to Icy Wind Valley. Chen Zhang's voice traveled to Pan Yunlin's ears, causing him to sigh helplessly. You don't know where the Divine Devil Cult is yet, so you should at least let me tell you. Pan Yunlin was also a little suspicious. He didn't know where the Divine Devil Cult was, but he moved so quickly, as if he knew it. Chen Shang did not know where the disciples of the Divine Devil Cult, who were gathered at DTN's place, were, but he knew of a way to release the old man after he left the Arctic mountain range. Where's the young master? The old man had been stunned by Chen Shang and threw into the square cauldron, but he did not see the youth, and furthermore, he was far from the Arctic mountain range. He isn't dead. You'll see him again. Chen Shang immediately said to Long Shui, lend me your god power, I want to retrieve some useful memories from this guy's head. I'm worried that he will resist later on. Long Shui replied, no problem. Sensing the divine power that Long Shui had transferred over, Chen Shang immediately used the soul-absorbing devil spell on the old man, and he had even used all of his divine power to do it. This could instantly numb the other party's divine soul, causing them to lose all consciousness, and could also prevent them from using the protective spirit grayness in their sea of consciousness. The old man screamed and fainted. Chen Shang easily entered his brain, searching through the large amount of memories and leaving the most useful part inside. After finishing the old man, Chen Shang released the young man. The young man fainted after a few violent slaps from Chen Shang, and Chen Shang immediately used the soul-absorbing devil spell to search through his important memories. This divine devil cult is actually in the Chen Martial continent. What are they doing hiding in there? Chen Shang put the old man and the teenager into the square cauldron. Where are they? Long Shui asked. Wasn't there a devil continent in the Chen Martial continent before? They are all places where the devil cultivation sects is located. The divine devil cult is located in a very dangerous location there. The devil cultivation sects above Chen Martial continent thought that it was very rampant, but after the power of the super martial school grew stronger, it became very gentle and rarely came out to cause trouble. But the fact that these devil cultivation sects appeared on the Chen Martial continent didn't have any detailed records. It was hard to say how those devil cultivation sects appeared, although there were many ways to explain it. I should have been on my guard against these devil cultivation sects long ago. Chen Shang clenched his fists. Divine devil cult has interacted with these big shots of devil cultivation sects before. Those devil cultivation sects were inside the Chen Martial continent. If a war broke out from within, coupled with the attacks from the Fire Divine Palace outside, the consequences would be unimaginable. Could these devil cultivation sects have been taken in by them? Bai Yuyu said. If that's really the case, then we have to eliminate all of those devil cultivation sects. Otherwise, if they were to join hands with the Fire Divine Palace secretly, the consequences would be dire. I'll be going now. If necessary, I'll have to ask Li Baojun and Duan Chong to come over. Chen Shang did not learn much from the youth and the old man's memories. Although they held an extraordinary position in the divine devil cult, they only knew a small portion of it. Do you know how they cultivate their divine soul? Every follower of the divine devil cult should have a divine soul, and nurturing a divine soul is extremely difficult. How in the world did they do it? Long Shui asked. To humans, being able to develop divine soul was even harder than ascending to the heavens. But divine devil cult had brought out many divine soul that were even more obtainable than ascending to heaven. At this moment, even Bai Yuyu and Su Meiyao wanted to know. They wanted to cultivate their divine way because that would allow them to obtain even more power. I only know that they have a celestial demon pool, which would be able to give birth to a divine way soul after soaking in it for 3 days and 3 nights. Back then, Pan Yunlin did the same thing, but the divine soul produced by this method used up a lot of life force. After nurturing a divine way soul, it would lose at least 1,000 years of life, and then cultivate their divine way of cultivation, which would also constantly decrease their lifespan. However, they have a way to increase their lifespan. That's extremely cruel. They have to sacrifice many people, one person, in order to increase their lifespan by 10 days. Chen Shang ran towards a nearby city. He was about to go to the devil continent. Longevity isn't a problem for us. We have the longevity fruit, so we can use that method to try. Maybe we can develop divine soul right now. Su Meiyao's eyes lit up. Although she was previously a renowned female ranker, once she recovered her strength, there would definitely be many who were stronger than her. Furthermore, after they were injured, they had delayed for many years. As for cultivating the divine way, it would allow them to become even stronger. Moreover, it was something that many experts at the peak of the heaven realm would only begin to ponder about. The energy in the god-demon pool is limited and can only be used to confine a certain number of people to it. As for the divine devil cult here, they have helped many people nurture the divine soul for so many years that they don't have much energy left, but it should be enough for you to nurture the divine soul. From the memories of the two people, he found out that they came from the heaven realm S. In other words, there were definitely a lot of divine devil cult S above the heaven realm S. The divine devil cult definitely did not have such rare immortal fruits like the longevity fruit, but their method of cultivating the divine way used up their lifespan. If Chen Shang were to use them, he would not even need to use the method of prolonging their lives. This divine devil cult used the excuse that he was acting on behalf of the heavens to do things, and instead did such heinous matters. What bullsh**t heavenly slave, I think the person who created the divine devil cult was someone who wanted to dominate the world. When Chen Shang came to the devil continent, it was rather desolate and the spirit energy here was thinner. In the Chen Martial continent, the spirit energy in every place was about the same, but this devil continent was very thin. This was not a coincidence.